I believe, in the world. And it is sponsored this year for the first time by Paddy Mason and his family, and their business is called Shear Expertise. So thank you very much to Paddy and his team, and he has been supplying the sheep shearers here for a number of years, and those are those big boys with the tāmoko on their big arms shearing away every day in the competitions. We follow that on with the Farmlands Wool Packs men's wool pressing semi-final, and that's one you got to watch as well because the Goodyear boys are on fire and they're looking good. And then we go into the women's semi-finals, and that's also sponsored by Farmlands. So folks out there, viewers, we welcome you in, and we're in for another action-packed day. We round the day off in this afternoon with the Open Golden Shears team, and that's sponsored by Bailey's, and they will be contesting that because the champion of that tomorrow night is also going to be going to the mighty Ladorat and Viva la France. So once again, we're going to be handing back to the boys in the stadium. This is brought to you by Noise Productions and Wairarapa TV, and we'll come back to you throughout the day with interesting people who we interview and also sponsors. So Toby, we'll go back to the studio. Thank you, to the stadium. Thank you.
A bit close to Dana down there, you might wear a broom talking like that.
Yeah, she gave me the people's eyebrow then that The Rock does.
No, what a great lineup. What a privilege it is for Golden Shears to host the champions of champions, and that's where we're getting to. We spent all day yesterday with the kohanga reo, the new up-and-comings, the ones to keep your eye on, the ones to highlight their names in the book. But today are the tall timbers, really. These are the ones that do drive innovation in the wool sheds. These are the ones that drive best practice. They develop it, they practice it, they teach it. So it's great that we see such a strong entry.
So these wool handlers will be handling 4 long wool fleeces. The sealed time is 1 minute 10 seconds. There is a lot of work on these fleeces, Mavis. As the referee was saying, there's a lot of yellow, a lot of colour in the wool, water stain. So this is really going to test these wool handlers. But, you know, they are the best of the best.
Certainly the best of the best. I hope if any of them were here watching yesterday, or if you were out practicing, that you've been online to just get a feel for what the fleeces look like, how they throw, and I guess some of that preparation, because you're right, our young ones certainly were pushed to a point yesterday with what they needed to get through.
Just another thing, wool handlers, there's not a lot of room up on the board, and our judges do need to walk around the table. So if we could just be a bit mindful of where our baskets are so that the judges can move around fairly, you know, easily, not an obstacle course for them.
And I guess one other thing, just reiterating again what the chief referee has messaged strongly. Please make sure your shoes are closed shoes, no peaked caps to be worn. Not to be up on that board until it's been fully judged and those competitors move. Let's just be a little bit thoughtful. They're pretty twitchy in this competition, being a qualifying round, that everything is as right as it can be.
Okay, Mavis, just looks like these competitors are ready. Just before we start, if we could just stand and have a minute's silence for one of our brother shearers that was shearing for the wool handlers last year and is no longer with us, Jock Hawkins. So if we could just have a moment's silence, ladies and gentlemen, that would be lovely. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. If we could get our counters down to our judges, please. I think they're up on the board, are they? Our clickers, I think they're up on the board. So we're just waiting on the green light up the back and we'll get started. Our judges are all here and prepared. We've got some good shearers here, wool handlers. They've been doing it for many years, so there's no need for you to tell them what to do. They've been well instructed. Okay, we have the green light. Can we have our shearers to the board? Jimmy Samuels, can you report to the microphone desk? Okay, first heat of the shear expertise open wool handling. Timekeepers ready. Shearers, get set, go.
Sorry, Chief Referee has asked just to
hang
hold.
on, guys, hang on. Joe, Okay, we're going to start again, Lance. Are you good up there, Lance? We're good to go. Okay, timekeepers ready. Shearers, get set, go.
Heat 1 of the Shear Expertise Open Wool Handling. Thank you, Paddy Mason up there. Him and his team have been really engaged in the Golden Shears for a long, long time. His great-grandmother's name sits on the Open Wool Handling trophy. So how wonderful now that not only do they come and koha their time shearing these sheep, but they now have invested. They've invested in the future of this industry by supporting these top-line wool handlers. And in this first heat, there's a lot of familiar faces and names here. Dana Te Aho, don't like to say too much, but Dana and I certainly had some good tussles back in the day. Always a fighter, Dana, never gives up. And we've seen that with her children coming through, and now her moko yesterday placed in the novice final. How wonderful for the Pōtai whānau that he's able to bring through that name. On number 2, Candy Hira, an accomplished wool handler, based in Mataura, but by golly me, she knows how to make this place run, work too. She's been around for a fair while. Quality lady, quality work. Heat number 3, stand number 3, Toma.
Yes, we have Amy Karaka from Tikaraka, this young lady. She's been in the open class for probably 6 or 7 years now. A great young competitor. She loves getting amongst the hustle and bustle of handling. On table number 4, we have Betty Nico. She's from Martin Borough, but a local lady, been here forever, as long as I can remember, is Betty on table number 4. But there were some good throws. I think the best throw was on table number 1 by Dana. And all these wool handlers, they've all got a fairly similar system. They like to skirt around the bottom first, up one side, try and get the neck before they have to get back to their shearer. So we've got 9 baskets around the table, Mavis, and in every one of those baskets is a line of wool, and it's all graded. That's what these wool handlers are doing, isn't it? They're grading the wool as they go.
Yeah, and that might sound like a pretty easy thing to do, but first of all, they have to identify, is that short? Is that colour hard enough? Will it wash? Won't it wash? Is there methylated fibres in this? Because that doesn't dye very well. They're making those decisions every single minute they're up there. And if you watch Betty, her eye is definitely on her shearer. She knows where he is, how much time she's got, and there she goes. She's right there, right when she needs to be, to ensure that there's no contamination. Love the way these people think. And if you are inexperienced or even a learner wool handler, you know, just get down here, watch these people, download the live streaming, just check it all out. There's so much that goes on that you don't see.
Thank you, Mavis. I'll just come in and call out Heat 2 of the open wool handling. Nio Henson, Greta Daveron, Joel Henare, Kimberly Braddock, and Heat 3, Monica Potai, Angela Kirkpatrick, Brittany Tibble, and Vicky Smith. If you guys can be ready, thank you very much.
Just watching Dana down here on table number 1, Mavis. I don't think 9 baskets is enough for these wool handlers. They're already ripping these fleeces to bits with the, you know, bit of yellow, bit of water stain. It's going to be pretty difficult up here, isn't it? She's going to be trying.
Sure is, and we saw that with these the juniors and novices yesterday. They struggled. They struggled to, first of all, prepare the fleece for a perfect throw, and then with all the kind of processing faults, and these are faults that happen over time in this type of wool. You were talking yesterday, the weather has an impact, if there's bacteria in the air. So some of these fleeces are quite yellow where permanent heat and wet have coloured them, discoloured them. That has to be removed. There's some other water stain there which also weakens the fibre. So there's some strength deficit in these fleeces that they're also looking at and identifying. But that was a fabulous group of four throws, Tom. It just really shows the calibre that we've got here today.
Just watching Dana, she turned around, there's a little bit of wool on her table. She got rid of it before she threw her fleece because that's cross-contaminating. Lovely throw there on table number 2. Nice there from Amy. Dana's had a heck of a good run down here. And we've got young Betty down there. She looks like she's got a bigger fleece, Mavis.
She does have a bit of a big, you know, it is a big fleece. But Betty's also a pretty smart exponent on those fine wools. And those fine wools kind of have characteristics that allow it to expand. So she's used to handling those big fleeces more in the fine wool, but you know, once you can do that, you can do anything. She knows how to handle these. But they were 4 amazing throws. This heat is really setting the benchmark.
Well, we've got Joel Henare. He's up in the next heat, and he is that set the benchmark at the moment. And these wool handlers, they are really coming up to speed with that young man. He's a wonderful competitor. But just watching these shearers, you know, they're moving down into the long blow. There's so many different lines of wool that these wool handlers need to do, and there's only a limited amount of skirting that can be done at the board, isn't there, with the full wool?
Toma, could I just hop in here, please? Sorry. Pania Piwari, could you register, please? Mel Morris from Australia and Sophie Huff from Australia. Could you 3 register, please?
Here we go, Tom. Here's throw number 3. This is where points can be made, or this is where your next level will be made or broken. How smooth, how clean. Let's have a look. Bit of bunching there for Betty. Oh, lovely, Amy. Lovely, Dana. Same for you, Candy. Sometimes the bunching like this can happen because you're just not quite confident you've been able to prepare that fleece for a throw. But nevertheless, what you will find is that that's nothing that's going to put Betty off. She goes, I get it. I know how this works. I can find it. And life just goes on. She's into it. Look at the way these wool handlers are skirting. Very confident. They know what they're doing. They know what they're looking for. And they're trying to be as quick as they can because they know that actually in the real world there'd be another fleece right there, right now.
Yes, 1 minute and 10 seconds is the seal time. Dana down here, she's happy. She's rolling up her fleece. Nice, tight, compact roll. We've got Amy and Candy there on tables 2 and 3. They've got brim in hand. Dana, she did a little bit of homework before she started skirting her fleece, so I expect that her cleanup won't take very long, but 1 minute 10 seconds is not a lot of time.
Hey, time.
Time for Candy.
And Amy. What you can see up on the board are the board points. You've got 2 sets of judges. One set out here. They're really judging process. What's the process that these wool handlers are going through? Then it goes out the back and the quality of the work then gets judged. And then you add on the time penalty. So what we're seeing up there is just an indication of the standard of the process work that they've done on the board.
Well done, Dana. Lovely exhibition. Nuki.
Heat 2, Nio Henson, Greta Deveron, Joel Henare, Kimberly Braddock. In that order, thanks. Heat.
Well, good morning once again, viewers out there on the World Wide Web and inside the stadium here in Masterton for the 2019 Golden Shears. We've kicked off with the Shear Expertise Open Wool Handling, and this is all the top wool handlers in the world, I believe. There's not many that can compete at this level, especially with the sheep that we've put up for them this year. We'd like to welcome for his second day in command, Sam, good morning, and welcome back. They tell me you've had some water problems out on the farm this morning. Bloody farms, eh? You know, there's always something going wrong. but Sam, it's great to have you back in here, and yesterday was magnificent.
It was a terrific day, absolutely terrific. You know, the entries in the novice wool handling, novice shearing, junior shearing, I think they're up as high as we've been maybe ever. And I think it's great for the industry.
Well, at a time when wool prices, and we can talk about that, are not very great, we're struggling to make a few bob off them, and that's wool growers. Yeah. But thankfully, the sheep underneath it is quite valuable. But I wonder what is the key, because the country as a whole has been struggling to get numbers to competitions, but the Golden Shears is just a bloody magnet, isn't it? It brings them.
Well, we try our very best to put up the best sheep that we can. You know, we go to a farm and we'll pick the top third of the sheep, say. So we pick the eyes out of them. So we try and get the cream out of that mob of sheep. And our sheep guys this year have had a change around. A few new sheep owners have come forward, and I've been rung to see if we want to use their sheep, and Ken and Donald have done a terrific job. Donald has supplied long bulls and second shear this year, so he's really stepped up to the mark.
Well, the key to him, he's also integral to the Golden Shears. He's a judge and has been for a long time.
He's a judge as well, yeah, and he's really stepped up to the mark today. You know.
Well, that's the key, and we talk about it. You and I had a bit of a yarn off air that the key is the volunteers.
Oh, yeah.
There's nobody here with anything else than the heart and the guts of the Golden Shears. Well, we got underway with the open wool handling, as we said, and they're sponsored by the Shear Expertise team, and we go on to the wool pressing farmlands, and you've got some big boys coming up, so it's going to be a full-on morning here, isn't it?
Oh, very full-on, and you know, the atmosphere, the enthusiasm, you know, it's great. It's what we want, and it's what we've strived for, you know, over the years.
Okay, and we'd like to thank at this stage, because there's photography. Look, I went on last night and I was on the internet, and Māori TV have picked up the Golden Shears, and there was programs there, and there was a crowd in Gisborne that shears, and some of those people are here. And also, I saw a little clip of a grandson of yours going like this. He was watching you in the Evergreens event. So they're all tuned in, all over the world, aren't they?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Now my son and daughter-in-law and granddaughter in Canada will be looking at us, you know, this morning, and my mates from the Falklands.
Well, you're going there a little later on. Hey, well, we're going to go back to the stadium because of the open wool handling. There's the top guy there at the moment, the current Golden Shears champion. I believe Joel Henare is back on the stage. So, Sam, we'll keep in touch and we'll go out throughout the day and let's hope we have a great day. And I do know we're going to, some of us are going to Missy Tutavaha's tangi and funeral today. Ka noho, ka mihi. Okay, thank you. Well, back to you, Toby, and the stadium.
It is a pretty special thing around Golden Shears when you have this happening, families together. Greta's been there a long time, but, you know, and Joel has too. He's been there a long time. I guess he's got that many aunties and uncles and cousins around the circuit. Joel, truthfully, can go anywhere and find a bed. It's a great thing. And then down the end here we have Kimberly Braddock. And again, we talked about the power of families. And Kimberly's been in here just watching her skirt that fleece. She's doing a beautiful job. She had a bit of overhang on that fleece, but it wasn't anything that put her off. Straight back to the shearer. The thing is with these wool handlers, they've got a plan in their head. And it's very much around process. Step 1, step 2, step 3. But that's only if everything goes right with the sheep and the shearer, isn't it, Tom?
Yes, you did right, Mavis. That's it. Bang on. And these wool handlers, they're under the pump with these shearers. Adrian Samuels can report to the microphone desk. Nuki Gordon. Another fleece about to hit the table. Young Kimberley down there. Wow, Mavis. These wool handlers are really putting on the exhibition, raising that bar, as you were saying a little bit earlier on.
Yep.
So we got Greta there. Greta's just moving her way around the side of the fleece. There's a lot of real snap decisions that these wool handlers need to make because, you know, there is a lot of colour in these fleeces. And, you know, like when you are grading the wool, as we call it, you know, it goes on colour, length and contamination. So you could skirt the wool and still go back and get maybe yellow out of there. You know, these sheep, they've been sitting on their backsides and when their rump and their back leg is on the ground or in the mud, you know, we're going to get colour, aren't we?
Yep, and this year in particular, this season with the fabulous hot weather we've had, and then some of those flashes where we've had a fair bit of rain, you know, you've got a perfect condition that can occur for the bacteria to then start discolorating the wool fibre, and that's exactly what's happened. So yes, there's a lot of decision making. Hey Tom, I just want to go back to those throws. If you've just tuned in or don't know, every overhang or bunching or you know, something not quite flat, the size of an A3 paper earns a penalty point. I've been watching these throws and I tell you what, you know, to me, be lucky to be able to find 3 to 5 points on these throws. These judges are having to be pretty damn diligent. Lastly, before I hand back to you, Tuma, look at all the tables. Beautifully cleared. No penalties there.
Ngaio Hansen down there, table number 1. She's got a lovely throw. Joel pauses for a little bit bigger fleece, a little bit bulkier. So he just aims for the top of the table, pulls the fleece back. And young Kimberley, you know, there's not a lot in it, is there, Mavis? Just looking from the side, there's not a lot in it. But up on that stage, it can be a whole new different story when you're competing. Everything can look a lot bigger, a lot brighter, especially underneath these lights. These lights, the good white lights, is what you need with wool handling.
The good white lights shows everything. If you've got yellow lights in the wool shed, you can miss a lot of that permanent colour. You've got to have good lights that can actually allow you to make the right decision to get the right outcomes. So, you know, if you're a farmer or someone involved in the refurbishing of wool sheds, I'm pretty sure that would be one of the first things you look at, what that light looks like. Big thank you to Donald from White Spurs for bringing these sheep all the way through to Golden Shears. This ain't easy to bring full wool through, but how well grown they are. That's why they're such a challenge. Oh, Joel's doing well. Look, all of these competitors, they're right onto it. That roll has to be tight, compact, and it's got to be placed. Anything other than that, you're going to earn a penalty.
All these wool handlers running back to their shearer. That's the one. So this is the fourth and final fleece. Joel pauses as he does, pulls it back slightly.
Joel didn't want to have another one like the one prior, so he made extra sure. Kimberly's got a beautiful throw down here, a little bit of bunching at the top, but nothing that's going to detract too much from her finding those processing faults.
Ngaio Henson down here, table number one. She was a little bit hesitant. I think that fleece might be just a little wee bit more loose in the fibres, so she was a little bit frightened to really push it out, and there's a little bit of bunching up the top. But these are our seasoned wool handlers. These are the wool handlers that represent New Zealand.
Yep,
they are leading.
Joel.
We are leading our young ones, mentoring them. Joel Henare, here he goes. He is turning on the turbo, Mavis.
Turning on the turbo. Got the super strength there. One arm, lift the table up. I can't be bothered sweeping around it. I'll just go straight through it. And this is where organisation really kicks in. Joel would have thought as carefully about the plan for clean-up as he has about the plan to compete. There he is on the floor. He's not far, you can tell. Yes. Smart, Joel. Very smart. Well done, Kimberly. Great clean-up.
Time down here for Ngaio. Well done, Ngaio. And Greta's not too far behind either. There we go. Well done, wool handlers. Okay, Nikki, the next heat can get up once the judges have finished doing their thing.
Monica Potai, Angela Stevens, Brittany Tibble, Vicky Smith. If your competitors would like to go up. Heat 4, Del Adams, Adrian Samuels, Ash Boyce and Rose Puha.
Thank you, Heat 2. That was a privilege to watch. For those of us watching, you're noticing the judges are just really taking that extra care, making sure that those baskets are stacked up so that they can judge also what's underneath.
She's a little bit fresher morning out there this morning, Mavis. Mind you, yesterday was a little bit fresh as well.
Oh, felt fresher this morning. I think it was about 3 degrees. We're kind of not used to that, are we?
No, 3 degrees. I think it would have been warmer in Dannyvik.
Never mind. Winter's coming. It's autumn. Celebrate autumn.
Logan Kamura, could you head over to the announcer's desk, please? We are waiting. Logan Kamura, if anybody has seen him, can he let you know that we need to see him? Thanks.
Okay, we've got the green light, wool handlers.
Come on, ladies. We really need to move it along.
Can we have our shearers to the board? I see the Australian team roll in. Melanie and Sophie. I wonder if Sophie's brought her young fella in All Blacks rugby jersey yet. Okay, it looks like we are good to go. Shearers to the board. Judges to the board, please. Must be good, Phil? He must be okay.
Another heat of certainly well-known faces through the competitions. Feels like every heat's a final here.
Well, the depth of all handlers we have in New Zealand it's amazing.
Pretty outstanding, that's for sure.
We're just waiting for the thumbs up from Joe. Okay, we get the thumbs up. Timekeepers are ready. Shearers, get set, go. So White Spurs are the sheep suppliers, Mavis. Great to have them on board. They came in at short notice, as I understand, and they've given us some well-grown fleeces. They
have, and, you know, this is the strength of Golden Shears in the community. Donald has been on the committee for some time now. You know, when the need is there, people just step up. It just happens. So, yeah, it's a real credit, and how lucky are we?
Okay, so the belly wool has come out. The shearer flicks it out the back. You've got the frib and the main belly wool. The wool handlers will give the belly a shake if there's any second cuts in there, so it doesn't go in the basket and contaminate the belly wool. And then the shearers move up. They go between the legs. There's a bit of short wool around there. They do the undermine, so you've got your socks, your short wool. There may be a bit of pizzle stain, maybe the odd dag. So that all goes into all its different little lines, and the judges, they're judging quite hard around the undermine, aren't they, to make sure that they are taking away all that short wool, so when they move the long wool around, it doesn't cross-contaminate.
I think the important thing about that, if all those short wools are left in that fleece wool, when it goes into the next level of processing, there can be up to 25% wastage. Now, that's all those short fibres not coming out. But, Tuma, look, here we go. We're getting ready for the first throw. Nice, Ange. And again, Vicky. Very good. Monica. Now, Brittany. Bit hanging over for Brittany, but that won't faze her. Down on table one, Tuma, proud mum, no doubt. Monica, last night or yesterday afternoon, her son qualified for the novice shearing final, still at school, and by the sounds of it, he's got a mum and nan that are going to make sure he stays at school. But how proud for that family. But Moni's done really well. She's an active competitor, not scared. She travels, she does the work, she puts the investment in. All the best to Moni.
Yeah, I was talking to Monica yesterday, and she said that already. She's been up to the North Island 3 times just this season, chasing the competitions. Takes a lot of commitment. It's not a cheap thing to do. So, you know, head off to Monica. And Tia said that I think she brought up 5 young ones with her this time, and there's another 4 back down south, and she's hoping to bring them up next year. You know, so that's feeding our industry, and that's just the way that these wool handlers were brought up to bring people with them, because, you know, if we don't have people like Monica and Tia, we're going to be in a little bit of trouble.
I might just jump in there and tell me if that's okay. So we're just about ready to kick off down here at the pressing. The stage we're at down here is we're into the men's individual semi-final, okay? So the top 6 from yesterday. It's going to be action-packed. So can we have Stuart Wilson, a local man from Masterton, on press 1, and Jimmy Samuels from Martin on press 2. Thanks, Tuma.
Lovely throw down here on table number 1. Nice throw from young Angela as well. Angela's just had she's got a little young family, and I know that she's flat out looking after them while her partner's at work. So it's a little bit hard. Mavis, you would know about that, juggling a family, etc.
I think most of us do, and right down in front of me is the nanny. So Raylene's down here looking after baby while her mum competes. But I tell you what, even though we're focusing a lot on the throws, Toma, let's just have a good look at these rolls, because there's a lot of points that can either be gained or lost in the way that these competitors roll and then present the fleece to be placed. I watched the last one that Angela rolled. You know, it was just perfect, tight, compact placed. And I think you were talking yesterday, if you do that in the shed every day, you make a presser's job a lot more easier, as that wool is better ready to be pressed in the wool press. If you're pushing great big unrolled fleeces in, you know, it just makes it that little bit much harder. If you're working with a wool classer, you know, they're not always that happy to have great chunks of fleece presented to them. It's got to be a lot better than that.
Rolling from head to bridge, I understand it is the way to do it, Mavis. And all these wool handlers, they're really getting the push. Angela's got a nice little fleece. Let's see how she goes.
Yeah, unfortunately, Vicky got one of those big, bulky ones. Kind of went right over the table. But, you know, even though these things happen, it's how you handle it. So, all right, I got that wrong. How do I manage it next? How does this not affect to the detriment what I need to do? You also see Brittany there. She's doing a beautiful job around that fleece. Back to the shearer. They've always got one eye on the table, but they can see where the shearer is. They know what his pattern is and where he's going to be. Then they're also having to be really aware of these judges, because the judges have got to get close enough to see, but they've got to keep out of the road. So, you know, there's a whole lot going on, and these wool handlers are coping with it extremely well.
Yes, they certainly are. Just watching this, Monica, she's had a few yellow fleeces, Mavis, and you know, she's really looking. She works along the fleece and she stops. It has another look. You know, she's full of concentration. And yes, you're dead right. It was great to see her young fella up there in the novice final. I had a little bit of a word talk to him on the microphone yesterday, and he tells me he's going back to school. So that's a good thing.
It's a great thing. It's great. School and you know, learning is amazing and it's fantastic. But let's not forget that every day in a wool shed is a learning day as well. You don't have to necessarily be at school to be a good learner. And these people are fabulous examples of what great learners are, because it's all about seeing, doing, and then delivering. And they do that all the time. Next row going up. Another big one for Vicky. She's got it. Brittany, a bit of overhang there. She'll be a bit annoyed at that, because other than that, it was a great throw.
Yes, a little bit of bunching up here on table number one. Monica's doing a little bit of clean-up work first before she gets into that fleece. This young Angela, she just works her way quietly around the stage. I don't know if she's been up all night feeding baby or not, but she's just cruising along. Looks like she's pulling out a little bit of maybe stain or something.
I'll just get in there, Tuma, if that's okay. We'll do this quickly so you can bring those girls home. All right, pressers. Stuart Wilton, Jimmy Samuels. Judges are ready. Pressers. On your marks, get set, go. Thanks, Tuma.
Fleeces are off the table. Now comes the speed part of it. Let's see who's organised. Let's see who's thorough, who's thought about it. You know, it's as simple as the broom being in the right place. We often see, as wool handlers, the broom is placed somewhere and then they've got to run all the way around to get it. Thinking, where's it best placed for me to get to it? The floor needs to be clean enough that you could almost have your smoko off it. So that's the aim. Anything left is going to cause a penalty.
Here you go.
Time for Angela, time for Monica. Time for all these wool handlers. Well done, wool handlers. There wasn't a lot in that heat. Tramp it down, Monica, tramp it down. Okay, heat number 4, you can get up once the judges have finished judging on the board, not before. Table number 1, Dell Adams. 2, Adrian Samuels. 3, Ash Boyce. 4, Rose Puha. So if you guys can just wait for these judges to do their judging.
All right, thanks, Tuma. Rightio, down here at the pressing, once again, that's the individual men. There's a lot at stake here. The top 6 from yesterday, unfortunately, only the top 2 are going to end up under the bright lights. So, you know, the big evening tonight, all the prestige and honour and all the glitz and glamour that goes with that. So they'll be chucking a wee bit of caution at the wind here. So, Stuart Wilton, your local man, on a hammer more than a press these days, but still helps out when he can at main shear, does a wee bit of balding and a wee bit of shearing just to mix it up a wee bit. In this case, he was the 6th qualifier. He's got to work his way up.
Hello.
We had a look at the time points and said, OK, Stuart, you're going to have to rattle your dags, mate. He gives the old pack a bit of a flick and says, right, get a bit of an ear in there, a bit of ear time to open her up. Then over here, Jimmy Samuels, he's part of the triathlon. At the moment, he won't be thinking about the 3 things. He's had a good shear up there. He's done the wool handling. Now it's pressing time. The triathlon's probably a wee way back in his mind. At the moment, it's all to do with the individual pressing. He knows there's a very dominant name here, the Golden Shears. If you need reminded and you just knew, it's the Goodyear name. And it's going to be on stage here, dominating the scene again soon. So you've got to bring your A game to pip those boys. Jimmy Samuels. Got the fadge in. Flicks it and tidies it up. Walton gets the corners right. Lots of the judging points, lots on presentation.
Hang on, sorry, Gerald, I'll just jump in there, mate. Can we have our shearers to the board? We got the green light. Shearers to the board. We've got 11 heats of wool handling, so we need to keep ticking along as well. Judges to the board. Timekeepers ready. Shearers, get set, go. Okay, Gerald, back to you, mate.
Yeah, thanks there, buddy. Rightio, they're looking around that 9 minutes. The best time yesterday was Vinny Goodyear with 9 minutes, so you've got to really smoke it. What are they trying to do? They're trying to get 160 kgs of wool in one bale. They're trying to have it nice and tidy and presented well. They're trying to make sure the judges are happy with all their health and safety of their lift and all the things they do in and around the press, that they're not endangering themselves and others. All those precautionary things they'll do.
Who?
Hello, Coro. How are you?
Good morning, Gerald. Good morning.
You've
Thank
come
you
out of
very
the
much.
green room.
A bit makariri this morning, a bit cold, but
Yeah.
we're back to it. So this is the semi-finals.
This is the semi-finals of the individual men. 6. This is our first heat of 6. Of course, just telling the audience, only 2 are going to go under the bright lights. First event up this evening for Friday. And we've got the smiling assassin here on press 2, Jimmy Samuels, Coro.
He looks a little bit out of condition, this guy. Well, it's not winter time yet, is it? Because Jimmy, he's a strong man too. He did well in this speech here last night.
Yeah, speech here was good. I actually come down and done a little bit of the MC stuff and took off home just to put the feet up and freshen up and watched a bit of live streaming. Live streaming, sensational. First time I've watched it, and yeah, it was terrific, absolutely terrific. So if you can't make it for whatever reason, that live streaming is a good place to go.
So Gerald, what's the bale weight that these guys are going for?
160, and you need to be very close. Yesterday in the heats, they're sitting around 158. One was 160 on the dot. So the give and take of 5 or 10 Ks will not cut the mustard to make the final.
And who's this young fellow over here? He looks like he's in the army or the Air Force or something.
Yeah, that's Stuart Walton. He's a local man here. Worked for Paddy Mason as a full-time presser, come shearer and all those...
Stuart Wilton, go hard, my bro.
There we go, a bit of moral support from the fan club.
Is that mother? Oh, that's his auntie. So Stuart is the man. So Mavis, we'll go back to you guys at the wool handling.
Yep, thank you. No, very exciting down there. And I guess the great thing is if you get a bit bored looking at one end of the stage, there's always something going on down the other. But up here at the moment, Tuma, we've got Dell Adams. She's a great competitor, strong competitor, not afraid to work all the time. And you can say the same for Adrian Samuels from Martin. Never backs down.
Whoa, even old Dell Adams has come out of the cobwebs.
Dell Adams was never in the cobwebs.
Never seen her in a long time.
Ash Boyce, beautiful Ash.
Oh, beautiful.
Just what you'd expect from him. And then down the end here, we've got our matriarch, Rose Puha. We were having a laugh. She was certainly a very strident competitor in her day. She's got her kids and her grandkids all now certainly striding out of the heats. And of course, Son, last night in the speed share, Connor did extremely well as well. So great lineup up this end as well, Koro.
Well, I hope Screamer's watching up there in the north, because he calls Rose Boil Up. So see how she goes anyway. But we're going to come back to the wool pressing, Mavis and Tuma, because we're get ready to wind up. So 160s, the kilogram is the desired weight, Gerald.
Yep, 160 did all right. Here we go. The boxes, very synchronised pressing here at this stage. They are locked and loaded. Pins still in. That's something they've got to watch out for, of course, is the pins. At this stage, they're on the spring clean, Coro.
Beautiful little presses, and don't forget, it's all about health and safety, ladies and gentlemen. These judges, we've got the boys there with the pieces of paper. I don't know how they get points, these judges. I don't know what they do.
Nice, Ash.
Well, I can tell you something. I mentioned it earlier, actually. For 5.5 hours, probably 7 hours, these two judges, Carl Cox and Peter Cox here, judged undisturbed, never faltered, and I watched them all day. They had a huge day and a huge effort by these two judges, and I was just discussing or congratulating them, really, to say what a huge day. But what are they judging? Well, I can tell you right now, they don't miss anything, because they never take the eye off the ball. There's no drop passes by these two judges. They're going to judge the bale weight. Of course, we know there's a whole lot of points tied up in an overweight bale. It's a wee bit less than under, but a lot of points tied up on making sure you get close to that 160. And then we're just got to be nice and tidy. We've got to have a good presentation of the bale. And of course, the branding, Coro, is quite important too. The branding of the bale.
Did somebody forget to brand yesterday? There was a couple that forgot to brand, isn't it? Well, there's nothing worse than a farmer and the truck arrives to take the bales away and there's no brands on the bales. So that's what it's all about. Okay, we're into the wind down. Well, Jimmy Samuels, I think he needs to lift his game a bit, because this guy was way behind him. But now, look, he's coming back at him, and who's going to be the first to go down? I think it's going to be that wool press there, Gerald.
Yes, Stuart Walton, he's been swinging the hammer, and Jimmy's been swinging the handpiece. Which one's the heaviest one? They're coming in both together. Look at that, locked and loaded now, and onto the top box. Let's get that out of the way. Onto the handle. This is another safety issue you're asking about, Coro, is making sure they've got two hands on this handle, especially on the downward run here. You don't want to take your eye off the ball here and let that handle go, because she'll take off with gravity.
Gerald, I'll just hop in here. Heat 5, if they could be ready after this heat. Ronnie Goss, Marika Braddock, Penny Kirikiri, and Funi Waihipi. That'll be Heat 5. Thank you.
Okay, well, down here in the wool handling, we have got the last fleece on the table, Mavis. Delaval Chevelle down here, she's really working her way, fingers going flat out. These young wool handlers, they know they've only got 1 minute 10 seconds. I know a lot of them will not get underneath that sealed time, so quality first, Mavis, when it comes to the wool. Quality
first, but speed is a big deal. Can't be all quality with no speed. Look at the way Ash Boyce just really tightly put that fleece in its place in there. Look, it is about speed now. This is where the speed does come in. How smart have they been? How organised have they been? And with the old heads that are in this heat, I would expect that they've done this before, that they would have done it a number of times, nearly ready to get that broom up, Tuma. Let's see who's going to do it. There we go. Adrian. Told you she wasn't afraid to get in amongst it.
Okay, we're coming back to the wool pressing, you wool commentators. Well, we've done the branding. The branding looks good, Gerald. Now it's up to it. What's the times been going on with these wool pressing? They really need to be under 12 or 13 minutes, don't they?
Yeah, they do, Cora. Yeah, we're running at 12 minutes right now.
12 minutes right now.
In front of them, yep. Where Vinny yesterday in the heats banged her out in 9 minutes 42.
Oh, come on, boys.
Oh,
12 minutes has been reached now. Come on, Jimmy Samuels. 12 minutes has reached us. This guy coming up, sitting up there in the stands there, he's done it in under 10 minutes. The sweat is starting to pour off this young guy. You want to call the next heat, Nookie?
Okay, thank you very much. Heat 5, if they could approach the board. Ronnie Goss, Marika Braddock, Penny Kitty Kitty, Funi Waihapi. Heat 6, Ida Ratama, Marianne Beatty, Emarina Braddock and Rosie Keenan. Heat 7, Pania Iriha, Cherie Alabaster, Trish Mookie Ludlow and Tina Ellers. Thank you.
Okay, I've just got to note that we still have one space available in the open. If there's any open wool handlers that are out there, we still have one space available.
All right, we'll take off. Give me the call, Tuma and Mavis, when you're ready to go. Caps are running. They're going to have to rattle their dags. They really do. We've got to cut the top 6 down to the top 2. 13.5 minutes. Time points and pressing is 1 every 20 seconds. We've got to try to eliminate those babies. Right, we're on to the clips. Now this here might look nice and easy, and it possibly is if you've done everything before this moment correctly. If you have not, then you can have an issue because these two flaps don't reach each other. And that can happen very easily in a wool shed and very easily under the bright lights and all the stress and drama of the Golden Shears.
Well, this year, Gerald, we've had so many entries. They've had to close the entries in a lot of events, and open wool handling's been closed. So everybody's coming, and next year is the 60th birthday. So it's going to be a good one. And we're going to have wool press. We might have to have 3 wool presses. I wonder if our man, Mr. Hodder, can get us another wool press, and we'll have a burn-off down here, a speed pressing.
Yeah, that would be a very good idea. Well, I can tell you something. There's a lot of talk about this 60th. I have a man I know pretty well from the deep south, a fella called Ian Harrison is his birth name, but he's commonly known as Snow Harrison. He's 84 years of age.
Excuse me, Gerald. Excuse me, Gerald. We've got the green lights. So if we can please have our shearers to the board. Sorry, Gerald, we've got 11 heats.
Yeah.
So we need to just keep pushing this wool handling along. I think we're about 20 minutes behind. So we need to just get a wriggle on. Okay, timekeeper's ready. Just waiting on our judge. Shearers, get set, go. Okay, Gerald, back to you, mate.
Yeah, no problem, Tuma. Thank you. Yeah, as I was saying, I'll come back to just what's happening here. Stuart Walton's wrapped up. How did he go for time? 15 minutes, 10 seconds. Good effort, Stuart. And now Jimmy Samuels coming to the end of his run too. And he is running. He's got the short little steps going. He's got the hook in his hand. He's on the home straight. Oh, it's taking a wee bit of pulling that baby out. He's going to lock up the press now. This is a full-time job, ladies and gentlemen, in the shed. If you're a wee bit further, there we go, Jimmy Samuels. Give him a round of applause while we've got the microphone. And also to Stuart Walton, this builder man who is full-time builder now. Right, let's whack this out quickly. So, Stuart Walton, the hammer's not heavy enough, Stuart, I'm sorry. We're going for 160 kgs, but he's put it out, ladies and gentlemen, at 141.5. Well done. We're going to go, sorry, I know it's still right. Went ahead of time. Going to wait for the judges to give me a confirmed call on that. There's an old saying when you're a commentator, stick to your knitting. No, this one's not light, Jimmy. I can see that when you're pulling it out. Jimmy Samuels from Martin. senior wool handler, top open shearer.
Ronnie Goss, lovely throw down here, table number 1, Mavis. Ronnie Goss. She went up to Tau Maranui. I think she just went for a ride, ended up just coming in a cruisy second. Sorry, Gerald.
Yeah, you're good. So, is that confirmed? Yep. Confirmed at 138.5. Now, that looked like a really heavy bale coming out of the press.
As fellas are pressing pillows.
What's the weight we're going for?
Well, when I hopped on the scales, I thought
we were
it was
after
weighing me
160. Yeah, but did you have any breakfast this morning, Al?
So there we go. We're going to hit the 160 mark.
Thank you very much. If we can just for a minute, get at least a bit of a call in here for these wool handlers. As Tuma was saying, Ronnie Goss, she's a matriarch. She is amazing, Ronnie. I think she invented the style of cool. She just cruises around. Nothing ever looks like it's a big deal for Ronnie, but her quality is always outstanding and her time is always very quick. Stand number 2, Marika Braddock, another of that big family we were talking about, the high achievers in this industry, whether it's in the wool or on the handpiece. Lovely to have you here, Marika. I think she's the baby of the whānau there. And Tuma, Penny, what do we say about Penny?
Well, Penny is one of these competitors, always happy, always smiling. She's always, she's always pleased to see you. Follows the shows relentlessly. I'm getting a bit of a nudge from Nuki Mavis, but I'm just going to go on about this Ronnie Goss. And, she did invent cool. These days a lot of young people want to be cool. They just want to be like Ronnie. Okay, Nikki, sorry.
Heat 6 is following this heat. Ida Ratama, Marianne Beatty, Emma Braddock, and Rosie Keenan. Could you, for competitors, please be ready?
Okay, young Marika Mavis. Marika is the baby, but I tell you what, the baby has been giving the big sisters a bit of a rattle up lately. She's the youngest. I think she's a very, very determined young lady, as the youngest usually are. She's not spoiled like some of these other young ones. But we have Penny down here on table number 3. She's right there with her shearer. She's into the undermine, flicks out the short wool, catches the top knot, and then she'll be looking to head back to her fleece. Not a bad looking fleece, Mavis. It's not a lot of discolour in it as some of these fleeces have been. And Funi down here on table number 4. I seen Funi up in Mangawhaio, just up north of Auckland. I think it was just before Christmas. So you run into these other competitors in the strangest of places where you'd never expect them. But Ronnie Goss Mavis, fleece rolled up. Wow, she looks like she's on her game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the other thing about Ronnie, for those who probably know, or maybe you don't, she's the mother of Sarah Goss. Sarah's not just a champion shearer, but she just does her thing on the international stage with women's sevens and represents us well. It's always a real sense of pride when we see that. Look at these fleeces, the throws, good one, Funi. That was a big one. That was a bit of an issue for you, Penny. Nice up that way. As we've been saying, the throw really can make or break your opportunity to step into the next realm. So if we stop and just concentrate on that, even if it's for a couple of seconds, you'll understand why.
I'm just watching Ronnie Mavis just move along, the pieces, it's just the real fingertip action that's going on with Ronnie. You see a lot of these, especially the younger wool handlers, they kind of get a bit flustered and they over-skirt, over-grab the wool. But lovely little fingers. Ronnie is one of these wool handlers that you could really talk about all day. Just nothing seems to be too much of a problem.
No, but from this group of this heat 5 of the Shear Expertise Open heats, to me, every heat has so far looked like a potential semi-final. That's the calibre, that's the standard. And if you look up top there on the screen, you'll see what the board points are. That's only one component of 3 of what the total score will look like. But those points there are more around how good they are on following good process. You've got to get that undermine. You've got to get that fleece thrown well. You've got to roll and throw well. So that's those points. And let's just have a look at this. I think this is their last fleece. Bit of bunching for Ronnie. Possibly didn't spend enough time. That was a great fleece, Marika. You could have done a bit more with that, I think, darling. Nice one, Penny. Bit of over, folding over, but all good. And Funi, again, the standard of the fleece throwing is pretty outstanding here.
Okay, looks like Ronnie's just maybe found a little bit of VM or vegetable matter. Just working her way around the top. I don't know if she's going to walk around the side of the table. She'll probably pull the fleece over to her so she doesn't have to walk around. Young Marika, she looks like she's happy. Just flicking the fleece over. Any first pieces that have been left behind, when you flick them over, they stick out to you. So very important to do that. I hear somebody telling someone to hurry up. I hope it wasn't Ronnie.
All right, this is where we see the organisation, Tuma. This is where we see who's who in the zoo and who's really thought it out.
You should did right, Ronnie. She's moved her table. Give herself a little bit of room. Let's see if Ronnie moves her broom a little bit faster than her legs. It doesn't look like it, but she's using a full, well, we call it a full comb and shearing, but she's using a full blade.
Totally. The other thing with that sort of more slow motion with the wool, you see some who go flat out, and in fact the air of the movement, oh, look at that. Ronnie, Marika.
Thank you very much there, commentators. Once the brim comes up, we're in the semi-final over here. It's very, very important. Thank you. All right, Gerald, let's go back to the second semi-finals here at the Farmlands Wool Pressing men's event. Come on, James.
We're good to go, Cora. Okay, let's do your introduction if they need them. Jeremy Goodger will be on press number 1, a multiple times winner here. Up against his brother, James Goodger here, and he has also made the final a few times as well. So let's let them loose. Feel free to swivel on your chair and take note here. They know it comes down to the top 2. They will bring their 5-star game to this. Judges are ready. Presses on your marks, get set, go. Here we go, the clock's running.
Gerald, I'll just hold on, sorry. Ida Ratama, Miriam Beatty, Emarina Braddock, and Rosie Keenan, if you'd like to hop up on the board, please. Heat 7, Pania Iraha, Cherie Alabaster, Trish Mookie Ludlow, and Tina Ellers will be the next heat. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Nookie. Thanks very much. Oh, James has fired up. He's responded to the intro, I can tell you that. Now watch these arms full of wool. He'll knit it and crochet it together. Look at this. Ooh, here we go. Ooh, the silage grab, Coro. Did you see that? That's a huge load of silage.
They're not little men, these Goodyer boys. They're big boys, and when they pick up a bit of wool, it's almost 40, 50 kilograms, isn't it, Gerald? Look at that.
Oh, look at that. That's a huge load. 3 handfuls to fill the box. 1 step up, straight into the pressing. Different dynamics.
Gerald, I'll just come in here.
Yep.
We are ready for the senior shearing registrations, please. The senior shearing registrations, if you'd like to come up to the announcer's desk, and we'll get underway.
Hey, shearers, just one word, shearers. You're not to put your shearing gear on the seats. Okay, shearers, you're not to put your shearing gear on the seats. The seats are for bums only.
Thanks, Tuma. Here we go. It's rock and roll time, Coro. Look at this, Jeremy Goodger. Hauls it up there, full-time presser locally now, but spent a huge amount of time on Oz.
I was watching him, and I actually thought he was behind a hell of a lot, but he's not behind at all, because James hasn't got a wool pack in, and Jeremy has got the wool pack in. So has this man on press, what's his press number?
Oh, I call it number one.
This is number one?
Yeah, we're calling this number one.
Okay, well, the number one press man here, and I actually thought he was way behind, but he's actually past James now. James might be putting the lid on the first one. So there's two different styles, isn't there, Gerald?
Yeah. And really, the original sort of the blueprint or the Godfrey Bowen style of shearing was actually sort of invented by Jeremy Goodger here. Yeah. And he knew that, but he loved those people chasing him hard. They videoed him, they watched him, found out what his pattern was, and worked off that.
Okay, Gerald, we got the green light up here. Just a word, you open ball handlers, you're not to get up until the board has been judged. Okay, I know we're trying to push things along, but you're not to get up on the board until it's been judged. Can we have our shearers to the board? We have the green lights. Timekeepers ready.
We'll come straight back in once he says yes. Once he goes.
Just waiting on our judge. Shearers, get set, go. Okay, back to you, Gerald.
Yeah, thanks very much, Tuma. Here we go, Jeremy Goodger's loading up that box. But as I mentioned, he did have the blueprint. He used to rule. Look at the honours board up here. Have a look at it. It's dominated by the Goodger name and
this guy,
dominated by Jeremy.
14 titles, this guy here.
14.
Is he getting too old?
Wow. That's individual.
Was this man over here hasn't got his name on that board yet?
Yeah, he's made the bright light soap, but hasn't been able to take the red ribbon.
He's after this title, Gerald. This guy, James, is on fire. He's in the zone. Look at the look on his face. Don't look him in the eye. He's got it. He's got it. He's coming back at you. I believe, though, at this stage, Gerald, Jeremy's in front.
Yeah, she's a good old ding-dong battle. Of course, Jeremy a full-time presser, and James here now taking on an apprenticeship as a plumber. Was a baker for quite a long time, now apprentice plumber man. So
he's a professional rugby player too, this fella.
He could be. We'll take him home to Southland as well.
He's a Wairarapa boy.
So here he is, one step into the box as well. Jeremy's going to be going for the big wind-up soon. Both work areas quite clean. Both of them realised that those last couple of bales that hit the scales looked very tight, Coro, when they come out of these presses, and weighed it in an average about 137. So they're going to pump these corners, aren't they?
That was no good. That was hopeless. They have to be up around that one. What did you say, 160?
160 is the mark.
All right, Tuma, what sort of throws have you got over there, Mavis? That from here, back here, it looks like Mary-Ann Beatty's got the best throw.
Oh, Kuru, you need to put your glasses on.
I have to go to Specsavers.
Table number one, Wairarapa from Winton. She's got the best throw up there. Mary-Ann Beatty, she had a good throw. It looks like she threw it a little bit to the left. She might have one leg longer than the other because it kind of went off to the left. There was a little bit of overhang. And we've got Emma Braddock. There's that Braddock name that Mavis was saying, about all the families. How it's a real whānau culture out there in the shearing sheds. Well, Emma, she is another one of these competitors. Very, very fierce competitor. I think they have got a shearing contract around Eki Tahona Pahiatua. Mavis, is it?
That's right. That's right. And right down the end here, no mai haramai, Rosie, back to Aotearoa. All the way from Scotland, another fierce competitor who certainly does well. She does the miles over there in the UK, and she's doing the miles here again. So it's lovely to see her. She's had a good start to this, because this is no mean feat. All of this, the depth of talent and the depth of experience in these open heats has been unbelievable. So well done, Rosie. Do yourself proud here. She's back to the shearer because it's about, good girl. She spotted that there was some contamination on their table, went back. Setting up the fleece is the biggest part of it, isn't it, Tuma? Get that right and everything else happens well.
Yes, you did right. It's good to see Rosie here. She's a real colourful young lady, this Rosie. You get her and that Emily to cup it together, those two Scottish girls, and oh my goodness. Absolutely. So here we go. All these wool handlers, they've got the fleece on the table. I think Ida had a little bit bigger fleece, that one, probably Mary-Ann Beatty. would have to take the honours for that one, Mavis. That's right.
We're going to come back to the wool pressing. We'll just cut in there for a moment. Well, Gerald, it's back to it. This man on press number 1, Jeremy, hasn't been in a final for a while, so he's really got a mission, hasn't he? He hasn't made the cut for the last 2 years. This is his year, but look at him. He's just way ahead of... He's about 3 minutes ahead of James at the moment.
Yeah, well, the time's running well. He's 7 minutes 22 from start time, knowing that his brother yesterday in the heats did the 9:42. So we're going to use that as a bit of a gauge at the moment. But anyway...
So what's his time at the moment?
At the moment is 7
Whoa,
minutes 35.
Smoke. He's going to go under Vinny's time. I can guarantee you there's Vinny sitting up there looking down here.
Vinny
right,
also
Jeremy.
pulled off a 160 kg bail, so the quickest time and exactly on the button. So if that's not a yardstick to aim for, I don't know what is. But here we go. Jeremy says, right, it's pins time. As I always say, we'll get these babies through. Everything's got to be lined up before now to make this nice and simple.
Look at the way those pins are going through. We interviewed Jeremy in the studio there yesterday, and he has brought this level to another level, which you have said. He's been in really beautiful, and watch the style of this man. No sweat on his brow yet. He hasn't cracked the sweat yet. Mind you, it was 4 degrees this morning in the mighty Wairarapa. Bloody cold. Jeez.
Yeah.
So we have to warm up.
Us Southlanders are well prepared for that. I'm used to 4 seasons in a day, so I've brought heaps of jerseys and puffer coats, as I always do. I've managed to take off my woolen black singlet today, but you are right. Jeremy really sets a beautiful pace. When he gets the fadge to go into that little box, he gives it a wee flick and fills it up with air. And one might think, oh, maybe that's just a little bit of hot dogging stuff, you know, a bit of hey, 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 but it's not. It's actually the quickest way to get that fadge to open up correctly. Fill it full of air and chuck it in the press here. So here we go. What's the time now?
This is a heavier bale. This is a heavier bale.
James is pulling this baby down. Come on, James. You've been digging some trenches, mate. Come on, we've got to get those pipes laid. Here he goes. 1, 2. I don't know about you, Masterton, but do you know these 2 boys are your local boys, homebred boys? Come on, let's have some noise. Jeremy's on the trot.
Oh, well, he's just getting ready to pin up that bale, and this man is coming back at you quite quickly, Jeremy. James has picked up this pace now. He's coming back at you pretty quick. I thought he was about 3 minutes ahead of you, but no, he's coming back at you. How are we going down there, Tuma?
Yeah, we're going good down here. We've got Marianne Beatty. She had a little bit more work to do on that fleece, and she's rolled it up nice, tight, compact roll. She's going to give her table a bit of a lift. Try and put all the wool with the second cuts and stuff so it falls through the slats. And we've got our last fleece about to hit the table. Marianne Beatty, table 2. Got a lovely little fleece. Let's see how she uses it. That's some great throws down here. So Marianne Beatty, she was Joel Henare's partner in the last World Champs. Working her way up to be in that team again, as are all these other wool handlers. When it's World Champs qualifying time, Mavis, you see a lot of wool handlers you never really see.
That's right. And you also see a lot more of the internationals because, you know, we don't like to be too whakahihi or too show-offy, but actually the standards are set here. New Zealand do set the standards. So, you know, we just have that increase of attention and participation. It's great stuff. Hey, Tuma, I wonder if we shouldn't allow Gerald to bring these guys home. They're nearly finished over that side.
Thank you very much, Mavis. Running time of 11 minutes, 10 seconds. And Jeremy yesterday was 11 minutes, 1 second. So he's a couple seconds off his pace of the heats. But a very close bail, 1:58. Here you go, your local man that's dominated the scene. Give it up for Jeremy. Good job. Well done, Jeremy. Right, over to the younger brother, James. It's the pins in. He says, got a little bit of wool in the way. It's got to get out of there so I can get this pin through.
Okay, we've got time for Marianne Beatty, time for Emma Raina. We've got finishing touches here from Ida. She's a little wee bit of work to do. We've got young Rosie Keenan, the Scottish lass down there. She'll be looking around, ready to put her hand up. There we go. Well done, Rosie. So we've got a whole lot of different lines down here, haven't we, Mavis? And that's a few problems that we're having. These Wairarapa, these bins aren't quite big enough for all of this wool.
No, but that's all part of the challenge, isn't it? You know, it's not a perfect world, and you get what you get, and you make it work. And to their credit, they're certainly doing that. There's wool bulking out everywhere, but they're making it work the best they can.
Well, that was wonderful, the wool handling. I'm just in the crowd here with Mel Morris. Mel, kia ora, Mel. How are you feeling this morning?
Yeah, really good. Thank you. Had a good night's sleep, so yeah, it's good.
Well, Mel is part of the Australian team, and you're in the open heats very soon. How you been practicing?
Well, as much as you can for different lines and different judging techniques from home. But yeah, you come and learn as much as you can and put forward.
Thanks,
well, we put on some good sheep for you, so we'll come back to you, Nuki. Thank you.
Mel. Pania Iriha, Cherie Alabaster, Trish Moki Ludlow, and Tina Ellis. Heat 8. Once I get my piece of paper. Mel Morris, Kieran Herbert, Leisha Atkinson, and Tia Potai. And can we have the senior shearers that haven't reported in, please report in. Paul Swan, Daniel Seed, Alex Smith, Leroy Pitt, Lionel Tomata, Gethin Lewis, Ross Thompson, Dennis Goodwin, Ramon Smith. Please, we need your registration. Thanks.
Okay, we got the green light down here in the Shear Expertise Open Wool Handling Heats. If we could have our shearers to the board.
All right, we've got James Goodwin now. He's got the bail out. He gives it a wee push for satisfaction to say, oh, okay, is that going to be enough? That's the last little tidy up to present a nice work area, nice and clean. And that's it. Give it up, please, ladies and gentlemen. That's James Goodwin. Well done. Right,
okay,
we'll whack this bail on here. Yes,
sorry, Gerald, we'll just get this heat started. Looks like we are good to go. We have the judges to the board. Timekeepers ready. Shearers, get set, go. Okay, Gerald, down here in the Shear Expertise Open Wool Handling, I'll just rattle off these wool handlers are. On table 1, we have Pania Iriha from Dannevirke. She promised me she never broke 100 kilometres an hour coming this morning. She was running a little bit late. Table number 2, we have a world champion. We have Cherie Alabaster from Tai Happy Mavis. And on table number 3, there's a girl from up our way.
Yep, for sure. Trish Moki Ludlow, fabulous competitor, just a most giving and kind person. All the best to you, Trishy. And down the end here we have Tina Ellis. She's heading up to Le Durat, France, as a representative of the Cook Islands team. So this is a big thing for her. Lovely to have you in the North Island, Tina. Back to you for those bail results, Gerald. No, he's moved on. What were those bail results, Gerald?
Yeah, thanks, Mavis. Yep. I'll go and talk to one of them soon. So Jeremy Goodger, we're still aiming for the 160, coming with 148.5. So he didn't have enough porridge this morning either. And James Goodger coming with a 149. So both had a light breakfast and not enough going in the bail so far. So I'd really like to catch up with them to see what could change so dramatically from yesterday to today as far as the wool texture goes. Me as a farmer, I don't know those details, but they'll know as a presser, because yesterday we were within 1 to 2 Ks right through. In fact, I can tell you what they were yesterday, just for your interest's sake, while I have a catch up with one of them. So Vinny did a 160, Jeremy did a 158, Jimmy Samuels a 162, and Ricky Stevens, for example, done a 164. It's the same wool, so Coro, some change. Where is Jeremy about? I'll talk to Jeremy just for a wee second. Jeremy Goodger. Oh, here's James. I'll ever talk to James. So, I was just saying, James, out there, if you were listening for a sec, what can change so dramatically in the wool where it's the same wool as yesterday and you're banging out the 160s consistently, and there today we're now sitting around, 148s consistently?
I don't actually know, mate, to be honest. I couldn't tell you.
Well, I couldn't work it out as a farmer either, James. I wasn't sure. I was just putting it down to a light breakfast. Thanks, mate. This expertise, advice of James Goodyear. Back to you, thanks, Mavis.
Okay, I'll take over here, Gerald. We're just down here on our Share Expertise Open Wool Handling Heats. This is heat number 7 of 11. So, wonderful turnout of open wool handlers this morning. And I'm down here by Pania Ediha. She's from a little, well, upbeat in the no town called Dannyvirk. I don't know where it is, but it's around here somewhere. It's not far. So there's Pania Ediha. She's on table number 1. She had a few of her learners here yesterday morning in the novice. I think one of them made the semis. So she'll be very proud about that. These young ones coming through that she's been training. Cherie Alabaster. Cherie Alabaster, she didn't quite get that fleece to release, Mavis, and it got caught up just at the top, but not a bad throw. Pania Ediha, her fleece looks like a little bit more bulky than Cherie's.
That's right. Look, these fleeces are challenging. There's no two ways about it. Not only do they have the effect of colour, but they're also so well grown that there's no binders, and it's the binders and the fibre that hold them together. When they're not there, they're loose, they'll drop away. So, these wool handlers are having to make decisions on the hop. They have to figure, how hard can I throw this? How far can it go? What do I have to take out? How much? But we've got a lineup here of, people who I have huge respect for in this game. And not just in the competition scene, I'm talking about in that day-to-day scene. They're doing this every day. They're the trainers, they're the mentors, they're the ones that actually help step our people all the way through.
Okay, just going around looking at these wool handlers' bins. Pania, she's got a few different lines on the floor, not on the bins. So she's just anticipating in case she gets a little bit of water stain or a bit of yellow as well. So she's rolling up there. That's Pania Ediha. Cherie Alabaster runs back to her shearer, grabs the cheek. Just looking at that fleece coming off Cherie's sheep at the moment. Looks like it's going to hold together fairly well, Mavis. Okay, Gerald, back to you.
Yeah, we're just getting ready to kick off, Tuma. I just actually was getting some more expert advice or comments from Jeremy before on the changes of the wool in 24 hours. So he just said it's been handled a lot. It's developed a whole lot of, ear in it now. So it's just going to take a whole lot more tramping to get it down. So that's what he was seeking from one of the best pressers in the world. It's just developed ear. And his comment really was, when it comes to the peers trying to get a 180 bale.
Okay, can you tell me what has developed air? Is that why the bales have been very light?
Yeah, just repeating what Jeremy was thinking. I caught up with him and said, I've got my farmer brain on, but what's a presser brain saying? He said, I think it's just been handled a lot of times, just developed a bit of ear. But he too was very miffed and surprised by it. So we're going to find out from this next heat, aren't we? So we're just going to kick off in a wee minute or two.
So the heaviest bale we've had so far, it hasn't been 150, has it?
No.
We haven't had a 150. The desired weight is 160, so they're 10 kilos under. But it doesn't matter. It's the same for everybody, isn't it?
Yeah. No disadvantage or advantage. No. All right, Coro, we'll get them. We've got all our officials on board. Introduction, press 1 here. Vinny Goodyear, your reigning champion of the last 2 years. Then we've got Ricky Stevens over here. He was part of the final last year, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to see the final without going to the Friday night, but we want you there on Friday night, this is a replay. Okay? the joys of it, a
future.
replay of the final. In that case, the officials are ready. Pressers, take your marks, get set, go.
Thank you, Gerald. I'll just, could Daniel Seed, Alex Smith, Leroy Pitt, and Ramon Smith, if you're in the stadium, can you please report in? We need your registration. If anybody sees them, can they let them know, please?
Did you see the two kinds of ways of putting in those bottom pins? The big 6'7", he just reaches over and puts it down. The little wee 6'2" has to lift up the box. He has to wind it up. And I would think that this guy, Goodyear, is already 25 seconds ahead. So how many points? Is it a time point? 5 seconds a point, is it, Coxie?
1 every 20, Coro, Stoll.
20 seconds is a point.
20 seconds. So here we go. We're knitting and crocheting once again. Yes, these boys know how to knit wool when it comes to this. Very Goodyear's on fire. He bangs another big load in. Ricky Stevens, do I have to remind you, swivel on your chairs, it's a replay of the final from last year. You don't get much better than that. The heat is on. They've got to bring 5-star plus if there's such a thing. 6 stars. Here we go. Vinny into the corners. I was saying there's no advantage or disadvantage, but you can only get so much wool in here. They've had a slight advantage, of course, Goro, with seeing the heats prior to them and seeing their weights. So Vinny is making a big job of it. This will be a quick game. Just to remind you, Cora, yesterday, 5 minutes, or was it 9 minutes 42 for Vinny. So the heat is on. Good game's a quick game. There he is. He's away to his cap and Fadge at the same time.
I think he's going light. I reckon there's not even 100 kilos. 70 kilos in that box. Oh, well, that's 7 and 7 and 14, 140. So he'll go 80 kilos in that one. That's how he'd work it out, wouldn't he?
Yeah, true, Cora. Well, of course, it's easier to lift.
I didn't go to school, so that's...
You tested my skill, right? I went from a sixth form just for first 15 rugby, and that was me. But anyway, on to these guys here. So, Ricky Stevens, he is going to really get this wool in there. He's thinking, and he knows that if a bale is light and there's a huge amount of points tied up and round here, the way you... Here goes Vinny again. Booyah! That's worth a booyah.
37 kilos. 37 kilos.
So coming back to Ricky, as I was saying, he realises what's involved here. So he's got to make sure he gets very close to that 60.
Okay, Gerald, I'll just hop in here. Mel Morris, Kieran Herbert, Leisha Atkinson, Tia Potai. Heat 9, Samantha Gordon, Kushla Abraham, Emina Eramiha Niho, Pagan Karauria. Heat 10, Juliet Lyon, Anna Braddock, Sophie Huff, Maxine Pugh. And Heat 11 will be Sarah Higgins, Cherie Patterson and Chelsea Collier. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thanks, Dougie. Hey, right, where were we up to? So, yeah, Ricky's obviously thinking, right, 1 point every 20 seconds. I can make that up with a heavier bale. I'm going to stuff every corner, every inch I can get into it. Energy sapping work, this pressing bale, Cora. Nowadays, of course, a lot of no tramps around the place.
Well, see, Vinny would have been watching the last competitor, and he would know how much wool was left on the floor. And then he'll be going, I suppose that's the beauty of going last, because he would have looked at it, summed it up and said, I need to take a little bit more and not so much of it left on the floor. Because he's really piling it in now.
Yeah, true. Yeah, if we come back to that top box where you're thinking he's put 70, of course, it can be a health and safety thing that we mentioned before. If it's a lighter lift, okay, then so this is again up to these two wonderful judges who have not taken their eye off the ball when it comes to this pressing. They are exceptionally professional judges here, and
well, you talk about health and safety. We've got WorkSafe out there, tahi nā tahi, and then we've got farmland supporting the wool pressing. So it's all about that. We don't want to injure anybody, and that's what it is. So up goes the bell. He's going to wind it up. When you're ready to go again, guys, just come into us.
Yeah, we're just waiting on the green lights, and we'll get started. There we go. Can we have our shearers to the board? Shearers to the board. We're on heat number 8. We've got 3 more to go after this one. And it's all full of top line competitors. Timekeepers ready. Shearers, get set, go. Okay, so down here on table number 1, we have Melanie Morris. Melanie's from Tasmania. She's here representing the Australian team. She's been here a few times now, well enough to call everybody bro and cuz anyway. So that's Melanie Morris on table number 1. Table number 2, we have Kieran Herbert. She is from Te Kuiti. Kieran Herbert is right in there in the runnings to make the New Zealand team this year. I know like a lot of these open wall handlers are chasing that. Table number 3, we have Leisha Atkinson. She's from just down the road in Ikitahuna. And on table number 4, we have Tia Portai from Milton, a well-known family name in the shearing industry. And Tia's made, you know, she's cut her own path in this industry. She's a wool classer, and she's also a trainer. She's done a lot of training. So that's Tia Portai down there on table number 4. So all these wool handlers at the moment, this is the first fleece, so they'll be just worrying about keeping the job right, keeping around the work area of the shearer clean. Shearers are on the longbow, and they'll be starting to think about setting up the fleece for the first throw. Setting up these fleeces, these well-grown, used from white spurs, the setup is so important because they are big, well-grown fleeces. And if you want to land them nicely on the table, you really need to have the setup just right. So here we go. The first fleece about to hit the table. Kieran Herbert, tongue hanging out, the way that she does things. A little bit of overthrow at the top, not too much. Leisha Atkinson, table number 3, a little bit hanging over the side. She just threw it a little bit to the left. A nice throw down there from Tia. And down here, Melanie Morris, the Australian girl, she's got a little bit of overhang as well. So anything the size of an A4 sheet of paper that is hanging over the side or bunched on top of the table, that is 1 point.
Tumara, I think the other thing is too, you can tell when these fleeces are proving to be ultra challenging, when these wool handlers don't have the confidence to just really let them go. You know, they're just not sure. And when they do, of course, we end up with these big overhangs. But down here, Tia did a lovely job. It was more that whole aiming it for the top of the table and then pulling it back, you know, just to spread it. So I guess, you know, you take a risk when you want to really give it out. Tia's mother is trying to claim all credit for that sort of a style down here, and perhaps so she should. So, you know, there's a lot of different strategies, and we heard Koro talking about the strategy of the presses, you know, heavier in the home box and lighter in the box that's lifting. So these people are not just wool handlers and wool pressers, they're actually strategists. They're thinking about the smartest, quickest, cleverest way to do their job.
Sorry, Mavis. Ronnie King has asked all the shearing judges, please meet out the back. All the shearing judges, please meet out the back from Ronnie King.
Okay, another fleece about to hit the table. Leisha didn't quite get a hold of that properly, but didn't make a hash of it. Kieran Herbert, a lovely throw from Kieran. In down here by Melanie Morris, the Australian girl, a little bit overhanging. Maybe 1 point, maybe 2 points she would have lost an overhang with A4 sheets of paper wise, Mavis.
He's buggered. He's had it. He had to go away and do the branding. Sorry, guys, over there, we're just watching Ricky Stevens. He's brought the press halfway down. He run out of kaha, so he's gone back to energise himself by doing the bit of the branding, which is very important for the wool stores. But the wool handling is absolutely fabulous. But look at this Vinny. He's out on his own, Gerald.
Yeah, he's smoking it again, all right. This is 9 minutes 20 now, so it's going to be very similar to yesterday with the 9:42. But interesting tactics here by Ricky. He has really stuffed some wool in there, and hence he is working very hard to get this all jammed into one inside. He's racking, backing, and stacking, as they would say. He's got his way home. Good tactics, though. it just shows your audience that they're not here just to, pull that thing down lightly. They give it everything they got until they've run out of sting. Okay, they're running out of oxygen. They think let's to go to something a wee bit easier, light duties as if you want to call it, and do the branding. But here we go, Vinny Goodger, down to the finishing touches. How was he going for time? 10 minutes 05. He also has stuffed some more wool in there. He has a wee tidy up, tidies up the corners, shuts the door, sweat pouring off his nose and off his brow. He is now a full-time presser. He's fit to this. Give it up, Masterton. Vinny Goodger, your reigning champion. Right, mouth wide open here. Cora?
It's more wool in that bale. That's going to be the heaviest bale.
Totally agree there. It's a tactic that Ricky has went for. It's from watching from the sidelines, you could see all the way through he was going to load her up, take the time to get the bale down, and go for the bale weight. Knowing there's a lot of points tied up in there per K over and definitely per K under. And at 1 point every 20 seconds, it could be a good tactic. And time's going to tell us soon. So Ricky lets it loose. He's also part of the triathlon. Okay, that's where they do 3 events. Ricky's a very, very good shearer and a good wool handler as well. So this will be all part of those points. There's no such final. It's just the lowest points out of those 3 events they partake in. And that there, our man...
Gerald, I'll just come in there for about 2 seconds, sorry. Could we have Alex Smith from the senior shearing, Flynn Harvey and Leroy Pitt? We need you. Have you registered, please? Thanks very much.
I reckon he's going to have trouble packing that up because it looks too much wool on the top. He's gone for weight, hasn't he?
He's gone for weight. He's actually, the pins are ripping on the fadge because he's got that much pressure on it. So now's the trying time. He's got to lock this baby up. He's got to get it out of there.
Isn't this the hardest job in the wool shed? They talk about shearing being hard, but pressing is the hardest job, isn't it?
Pressing's a job where you aren't in control of. When you're shearing a sheep, as you know...
You're in control.
Yeah, you and me, when we're on the board, we're in control. If we feel a bit wounded for the day, we could have an easy day.
Well, he's packed that up nicely. It's packing up nicely. The Farmland-sponsored wool pressing men's singles event. The top 2 pressers will go on to the main stage tonight, Gerald.
Yeah, first event there tonight will be a little ripper. And, yeah... A big thank you. We gave them huge mileage yesterday, but to Farmlands Cooperative, Calvin O'Reilly, he was here. I don't know whether he's in the audience just now, but he watched heaps of this pressing last year and watched it the year before. He loves watching it. He's actually a sponsor that is heavily involved and really interactive with what he is sponsoring.
I like what I'm seeing here. This is a good bale. Let's see what Ricky Stevens has got, ladies and gentlemen, as he pulls it out. Is it going to be too light? What do you reckon?
That's a big, heavy bale. Scales are going to tell us soon. There we go. Give it up for Ricky Stevens. We're going to see if those tactics worked in absolutely no time.
Well, Kieran Herbert's going good up there, Mavis. She's got very good points. She's into the cleaner. Belisha's not far away, but Tia Portai not far away.
Oh, they're all right there, and that's been a big heat. Well done. And you guys were talking about different styles and strategies. You know, you see it up here as well.
Well,
yeah, thanks, Mavis. So, yeah, Vinny Goodger comes in. Again, 160 is what we're aiming for. The highest we've had is 149. Vinny came in with a 152. Now, we've spoke of the tactics. Where is Ricky? Come over and have a look, mate. We know your tactics. Put her on. Here we go.
Let's make a guess.
Uh-huh. If Vinny's 152, I will go 160 on the dot.
155.
155. Rightio. Here we go. Putting ourselves out there. Oh! Take a breath, ladies and gentlemen.
Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. What is it? What is it, Gerald?
We're aiming for 160. 159.5 Masterton.
Now, that was a fluke, wasn't it? You just fluked that, didn't you?
I've been out of the shearing sheets for a long time.
Gerald, I'll just get this heat up.
Hey, boys, I wanted to see
well
it
done.
again.
Koro, I'll just get this heat up, please. Samantha Gordon, Kushla Abraham, Iramiha Niho, and Pagan Karodia, please.
We're on heat number 9. We have 3 more heat shearers and wool handlers. Senior shearers, you guys should have reported in by now. I know that Nuki's been getting you guys to report in so that we are prepared.
Yeah, we just keep going.
So if you've just walked in the stadium and wondering what's happening, up on the shearing board we have the Shear Expertise Open Wool Handling Heats. And down the back of the stadium in the Farmlands Arena, we have the semi-finals, I think it is, the men's semis. But we have a heap of events to get through this morning, and we'd just like to keep things ticking. We got the green light, shearers, so if we can have you to the board.
We just got 2 more people to report in, or it might be 1 actually. Leroy Pitt. If anybody knows Leroy Pitt, he's travelled a long way from Masterton. Could they let him know that he needs to register, please, so we can get the draw done?
Okay, looks like we are good to go. Timekeepers are ready. Shearers, get set, go. Okay, Mavis, down here, table number 1, a local girl, Samantha Gordon. She's been up and down the stage many, many times already in the last day and a bit. She helps us with presenting the prizes. So, you know, this young lady, she does it all. On table number 2, we have the big sister, Kushla Abraham. I think Kushla and Samantha competed in the wool pressing yesterday morning against each other as well. So Kushla will be looking at her saying, well, little sis, I think it's time for me to put the heat on. And we have a young guy from Dannyverk on table 3, Mavis.
Yeah, of course, all the way from Dannyverk, Eda Miha. We affectionately call him boy, but I mean, he grew into a big man, so it didn't seem right anymore. Does a great job. Very closely connected whānau-wise to the Masons and Broughton's. And then down the end, probably the legend at the moment, Pagan Karodia. What a great role that she's played, especially in 2018 through She Shears, and of course all her achievements through the shows. What a fabulous year she had. And of course she's wanting to build on that. She's not over yet. She's got her eyes very firmly set on France in July as a representative for New Zealand.
So, Mavis, the competitors who make to the world champs, that's a north and a south thing, though, isn't it? We'll go back to that, but at the moment it's Niho with the best throw.
Go back to your pressing, Koro.
Yes, that's a good idea,
Cut it
Mavis. Down here on table 1, Samantha Gordon, she had a good throw. Working away around the side of the fleece. Fingers working away nicely. I see she had a big a black spot, the Sheriota black wool, and she was right there, all over it like a rash. Kushla Abraham, she had not a bad throw as well. She's back to her shearer. Shearers are working away nicely. Thank you very much, shearers, for giving up your time to come here and work for these wool handlers. Iramiha Niho, he's got the old fluoro headband on. He's right out there, one of these out there guys. And of course, Pagan Karodia, as Mavis was saying, you know, she's only just really starting to really shine in this industry with all her achievements.
I think the other thing, Tuma, about Pagan is, you know, she's a very expert shearer. She used to compete in the pressing all the time. She's, she's multifaceted. And that's why it's really great that we can work with the pressing and the wool handling all together, because actually it's a team effort. But I just want to shout out and make sure that people understand what the role of sponsor is. The role of sponsor is not just to provide some putia to help, but actually to be fully engaged, and that's what Shear Expertise does. They're fully engaged in Golden Shears and in this industry. Great to have them on board as a key sponsor. Let's see how this goes. Nice from Samantha. Yes from Boy. Oh, great. Look at that. 4 outstanding throws. You'd be lucky to find maybe 5 penalties on any of them. Surely they'd be single digits.
Okay, when it comes to skirting, Mavis, they all have their different styles as well. You get the real erratic ones, and you get the ones that are a little bit more kicked back. You know, you get some of these wool handlers, their noses are that close to the fleece when they're skirting, they actually don't really get a good vision of what they're skirting. So, you know, you see, look, some of them, they kind of lean back a little bit. You know, it gives them a little bit of better vision of what they're doing.
That's right. They're not just looking at where their hands are, they're looking ahead of where their hands are. So they've already kind of gone through where they're at, and they're looking at what's ahead. And then they're also peripheral vision, seeing exactly where that shearer is, because they know they need to get back there to clear that undermine, to get all those medullated fibres from around the head, take any blinking little stuff away from that sitting around that sheep so it doesn't become a contaminant to the fleece, and then back. It's a great system, very process orientated, and we hear people talk about good process. You know, the shearing sheds, I reckon, is where it was born.
Yes, you're dead right. The shearing sheds, still the backbone of New Zealand. Here we go. The wool handlers are all running back to their shearers, setting up the fleece. 9 baskets, ladies and gentlemen, these wool handlers have around the table with a different line of wool in each one. So these wool handlers, man, they have their work cut out for them. Young Samantha, she's been going wonderful so far, a little bit overhanging. Oh, we've got a good throw there from Kushler as well. This boy, Neho Mavis, he is sharp.
Yeah, that's a beautiful throw from Boy, and another beautiful throw from Pagan. Pretty lucky with that fleece, actually. It looks like it's not quite as bulky, but then these are the kind of wool handlers that make even the hardest fleeces look easy anyway.
Yeah, good idea.
Very efficient working going on here at the moment. Young Samantha down the end. She hasn't been up in this grade for very long at all, but you can see she's got that bounce that comes, I guess, with having, you know, that youthfulness, versus kind of like that super cool of Ronnie Goss, who's been there, done that, and almost knows what's coming before it even comes.
Yes, you did right. Yes, young Samantha, she's right there with her shearer, making sure, you know, to clean right around her shearer. She's been watching the Joel Henare. You know, she's been watching the current champion, how he does it. And that's how, you know, we get these young people that are so good, because they just duplicate what our champions do. And we look at Kushler. Kushler's working around the top of the table. Pieces come out. Boy, Neho, he's rolling up his fleece. He's saying, come on, you guys want to keep up with me? We need to, like, move a little quicker, get into second gear. Samantha, roll up time for her. We've got Boy Neho. He finds a few first pieces, picks them out, has a good look. That's what they do. They have to have a look. You're always going through your wool, making sure you've got every little bit out that needs to come out, adding value to that main fleece wool, Mavis.
Yeah, I think our pressers want to start the next one. Is that correct, Gerald? Koro? Oh, no, not yet.
You guys are more important.
Oh, no.
Yes, you did right, Koro. Sounds a bit like Steve Paul Tucker Osborne. But here we go. Lovely throw from Kushler. Even a good throw there from Boy Neho. We got Samantha Gordon, table number 1. She does a little bit of homework first. These others, they're flying straight in to the fleece. Boy Neho, he's got a lot of support here at the moment. All I can hear is get it, get it, get it. That's the way. Get it, Boy Neho. Kushla Abraham moving around the table. Samantha. Samantha's looking good. She looks like she's ready to roll up her fleece, Mavis.
They are. They're all ready to roll up. Sam's got a big fleece down there, as opposed to what's happened down here with Pagan and with Boyd. They've actually been able to pull a lot of oddment fault out of it. And so what they're left with is something quite small. But, you know, we talk about the clean-up as probably about being who's the most organised, who's thought about it, who's got it going. You can see people often who have finished last, but because they're well organised on the clean-up, man, they just bowl on through. Hey, and there it is. Pagan, then Sam. But it is about keeping that quality. You can often panic and think, oh my God, everyone else has finished, I have to too. Well done, Kushla. Lovely to see your brother crediting you last night, Kushla, as being his mentor and his teacher. You did well. He did well.
Heat 10, if they can please be ready. Juliet Lyon, Anna Braddock, Sophie Huff, and Maxine Pugh, please.
We're going to go back to the wool pressing. We got the women's farmlands singles women's pressing are about to get underway, but before we do that, we have some important information.
Okay, so we have the finalists for tonight. The big press-off under the bright lights. First thing in the evening program. Top qualifier with 47.6 points goes to a man from Napier. Ricky Stevens is in, ladies and gentlemen. And his partner will be one of your local men from Masterton, Vinny Goodjar. So it's a replay of last year's final, a replay of the semi-final.
Deja vu. Deja vu.
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah.
Right, well, we've got a bit of ear time. We're now up to another very important part of this farmland sponsored and Woolpacks New Zealand sponsored event, the women's individual final, okay? It's the final. Press 1 here, Christine Woland. Full-time wool handler and presser. She's a 2 times champion. Press 2 over here, Fiona Healy from Masterton. She is an 8 times champion, full-time mum now. In that case, that's a bit of an intro. Officials are ready. Pressers, on your marks, get set, go.
Okay, Leroy Pitt from Masterton and the senior shearing. If anybody knows Leroy, could you let us know at the announcer's desk, please? He needs to register to finish off. Leroy Pitt, please.
Okay, down here in the Shear Expertise Open Wool Handling Heats, we have the green lights. So can we have our shearers to the board? Yep, we are good to go. Judges are ready. Okay. Shearers, get set, go. Okay, Mavis, we are on heat number 10. What a wonderful lineup of wool handlers we've had this morning. You could have taken nearly any one of those heats and thought it was a semi-final.
And this heat is no different. No different at all. So I'll start down here on stand number 4. We've got Maxine Pugh. So Maxine from Raitihi, she's been in this game for a long time. She knows what she's doing. She has a huge influence on wool preparation in that whole Waimareno area. So lovely to see you here, Maxine. Of course, part of the whānau of the Edmonds whānau up there, who also are very much involved in the land around that Waimareno area. Good luck, Maxine. Next to her, we have Sophie Huff. Sophie's no stranger to us over here. She's been here a few times, representing Australia, representing them proudly. She's always hungry to learn, always wanting to know more. And of course, she's a new mother. I think she's been over here a couple of times as a new mother, Sophie. So lovely to have you, and all the best for this competition for you too. Anna Braddock, so another Ekatahunaite from the Braddock stables. They're competitive, they are capable, and we just love having them continually coming to support Golden Shears. And I'll tell you what, they get their fair share of ribbons too, don't they, Toma?
Yeah, they sure do. They're Braddock whānau. They are great competitors. And down here on table number 1, we have Juliet Lyon, all the way from Alexandra, or Alexandra if you're a North Islander. She just threw that fleece a little. She just kind of got a little bit wayward and threw it over, half of it over the side, but it's not hanging there badly.
We'll go in with the wool pressing, boy. Finals over here. Okay, Gerald.
Rightio, thanks, Coral. So here we go, Fiona Healy. It's load up time.
Did you say she's an 8 times champion, Fiona?
8 times champion. Been out of the system a wee bit just of late. You'll see her maiden name, Christensen. 8 times. Now, yesterday they toiled away here. Very efficient, both of them. Both of them made their bail around the same time. About just one. Fiona was just under 20 minutes. And Christine just over 20 minutes. So it's going to be a ding-dong battle here, I reckon, when it comes to the home straight.
We've lowered the benchmark too, isn't it? The bail weight required for the women is a little bit lighter, 150 kilo?
Yep, 150, which is still a real good tight bail. They had the privilege too, of course, of watching from the seats to think, okay, we have gathered some air in the wool or the likes, and we need to get some wee small bundles of wool in there and squish all that air out of it as the boxes start to load up. Tough ladies, these ladies. Tough game, the shearing game.
Your stomach muscles will have to be really tough, especially when you're bringing down that handle, haven't you?
Yeah, you get really strong in the stomach and you get massively strong in what you call those trunk muscles up your back, those 2 big muscles up your back. I know some of the pressers that I worked with, they'd get down to their beer belly, and they had huge big muscles down their back where they're pulling these presses down all the time, back and down, and they're exceptionally strong. But right now we're into these 2 ladies, and they are doing what needs to be done. No Hollywoods at this stage. No panic attacks, as if to say, and she just start losing your marbles. It's just steady as she goes. It's a day at the office. As Christine starts loading the top box up. Fiona's the same.
Well, how's the throwing going, Mavis, up there? I see the last one to put on the table was Maxine Pue.
Yeah, she had a challenging fleece there, really big and bulky. She actually had to alter what I would have called her game plan to get that on the table. She had to hold it and wait. You know, you see the way these wool handlers will adapt to accommodate whether it's a big bulky fleece or whether it's a cot. But she did well to do that, and of course all up there we've had fabulous throws from these open wool handlers. And I guess if you've been here for the last couple of days and saw, I guess, the difficulties that the novice and the junior and the senior had, you would really appreciate the skill and the craft that these open wool handlers are demonstrating here with these throws.
Well, it's wonderful, Mavis, and it's been pleasing too that it's been recognised and the wages have been lifted throughout the industry, haven't they? We've had a good wage rise. Some of these wool handlers were struggling to make $20, but now they're all on $25 plus, aren't they? So it's been really good.
It has been. It's been very satisfying, really. Some of these wool handlers full-time, you know, they were struggling to take home $30K a year.
You get more on the dole.
Well, they work hard. They deserve more. But that wage rise has been, I think, a boon for the sector.
Okay, we're coming back to the wool pressing, Gerald.
Rightio, so running time, 6 minutes 30 at this stage. Not far away.
Oh, she's having a breather.
Christy, she took it.
I leaned on the wool press.
Oh, look. You'd say if you're getting puffed like that, you've got to stretch back and take a few big breaths, but there's no time for that when you're in a final.
It's a damn bloody hard job. It's really, really hard, especially 150 kilos.
Yeah.
And you know, Gerald, in the North Island, 80% of the wool sheds have still got these kind of wool presses. We've got no electric stuff like you South Islanders. You're spoiled.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so no, these were the good old days, these ones here. The presses before that were reed and grey, very similar, but and then the Donald before that, which is the one that wound straight over and banged back on top of the other box.
So that's
but in between times.
That's the great thing about Johnny Hodder and his team. You know, they've kept this alive. This is 60 years old, this competition next year, and these presses are 80 years old, so they're older than the Golden Shears. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good to have. It's a great. There's very few shows having this now, so we wanted to keep this here going. And of course, we had the novice this year. We had four youngsters that get involved there, so that was great. And we've had very large entries, so that's been brilliant too. So we had a really big day at it yesterday, and it was an enjoyable day. And hopefully, the audience really enjoyed it, because this is a bigger part as anything when it comes to the shearing shed. And normally these ladies and these guys that run these presses, they have to cook the food. They have to do the sheepo. They've got to pen up. They have a big hunt away with them, a big dog that clambers all over the sheep to get the pen full. And then there's wool pouring up all around them in bits and pieces. And you've got to remember, of course, Coro, under a normal shed situation, there's 4 shearers still shearing. So we've still got wool arriving while you're doing this bale. So you've got to be on your case all day.
You can't slack. Okay, Tuma, you're coming to the cleanup, and Sophie Huff looks like she's ahead of her, but Anna Braddock is right there with her, Tuma.
Anna Braddock, she is the dark horse. I was talking to Cherie Alabaster, and she's like, that kid is a dark horse. And we've got Sophie Hoof from Australia. She's one of the team members there with Melanie. We've got Juliet Lyon down there, table number 1. She's on the cleanup as well. But this young Anna Braddock, she has nearly finished. The system that she has in place for her cleanup, it must be pretty sharp. Well done to her.
Well done.
Maxine Pui, I think she's nearly finished as well. She's down on her knees. Juliet here, just having a look around. You're not so well done, Sophie. You're not supposed to have any empty bins. If you've got wool on the floor and an empty bin, you're going to be in trouble. Well done, Maxine. So that's another good heat, Nuki. I think you've got one to come, haven't we?
Yes, we have. So could we have Sarah Higgins, Cherie Pedersen, Chelsea Collier and Logan Kamura, please? That's the last of our wool handling open heats. We'll be moving into the senior shearing not too far away. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Nuki. All right, we did the wind-up. The key with the wind-up, you've got to get it up fast, but you've also don't want to be that fast. That box starts rocking all over the place and you're getting too much friction against that centre pole. But they've got them up, swung around, Koro, locking them down. Are they going to put any extra wool in? I don't think any of these girls are going to put extra wool in. I saw some of the guy pressers who wound the boxes up, thought it's not heavy enough, and they go stuff some more in it. We're going to have a drinks break over here, maybe, supplying the water to Christine. So now it's onto the ropes. We've got to get these up there, get it onto that cap, line it all up. You've got to make sure there's no wool in and around these pulleys. It gets tangled up. Sure, you can pull it through if you have to. Yes, Tuma?
Neck and neck, aren't they? These wool presses are neck and neck.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing in it.
Nothing. I think Christine might be a little bit here. We've just got some water on the side there if you need to take a water break. There's a bit of water there to have a bit of tune-up. But I haven't seen it this close, Gerald. These wool presses are blow for blow. But this is the champion here. Oh, no, Kushla.
Oh, Kushla. Champion last year.
Kushla's the current champion.
Yes, she's the reigning at the moment. But, gee, if we went by the heats, Coro, They were both around that 20-minute mark. So it is going to be a really good ding-dong battle. And they'll both want to be first off, as if to say, or their bail presented here. So here we go. We're in for the crankdown. We've still got time at this stage. Oh, pins need to go where they need to go. She's still thinking at this stage. She's gasping for air and a wee bit dehydrated, but the brain's still functioning okay. It's not easy to do 20 minutes hard out. It looks easy for us sitting in the cheap seats and talking about it, but this is hard yakka. They've got to pace themselves.
Excuse me, Gerald, we'll just get this last heat started, mate. Sorry about that. Okay, we got our judges on the board. Timekeepers are ready. Shearers, on your marks, get set, go. Okay, Gerald, back to you. You've got a pretty big thing going on down there at the moment.
Yeah, here we go. Thanks, Tuma. Yeah, we've had a drinks break here. Christine grabbed a drink on the way past, and Fiona, here we go,
All
ladies
right,
and gentlemen.
behind him, ladies and gentlemen. This is the crankdown, Gerald.
Here we go. That wee sip of water by Christine may have worked. The hydration. Fiona's saying, oh, this motherhood, I'm a wee bit out of shape. She takes a huge big breath, starting to swing off the pole. They've got to do the 150. Come on, Masterton, stay with it. This is the beginning of the big finals. Two champions right here in front of you. Two champions about 10 metres away. Fiona Healy, come on, rip that baby down. Christine, come on, Masterton. Christine's getting tired. Help her along. This lady from Dannyverk, she's down to the one click. Then over here, we'll steady the ship for a wee minute. From Masterton, your 8 times champion. 2 little kids at home, 2 little girls. One's 1, one is 2. But at the moment, it's all about her. Come on, Fiona. It's your moment. You spend most of your time looking after your children, but this is your moment to shine. But Christine's got it wrapped up.
Go, Fee.
A couple more clicks. Come on, Masterton, bring her home to the stage.
Let's go, Fee.
It's all Christine Wallen, ladies and gentlemen. Gerald, it's the lady on press number 1 from out in the boondocks there at Ekatahuna. She's rolling down the top box. It's coming back at her. Christine is way ahead at the moment. But I think she's gasping for air. Yeah. So how are you going back there, Mavis?
Well, enthralled by what's going on down there.
The wool pressing is very exciting. This is the final of the Farmlands Women's Championships. And we will have a new winner this year. And has it been the 8 times? The 8-time lady is starting to get a bit red in the cheeks. The eyes are starting to get fiery. But this lady's got all the support over here, Gerald. There's about 1,000 people here really barracking on this lady.
We better just come back up to the front for a minute just to introduce this Heat 11 of the Shearing Expertise Open Woolhandling. Tuma, start down your end. Who have we got here?
Okay, on table number 1 we have Sarah Higgins. Sarah Higgins is one of these ladies that can do it all. I think she's got a shearing run just in the north of the South Island. She'll be competing later on in the shearing, but yeah, she's one of these wool handlers and shearers, and probably a very experienced presser as well. And on 2, we have Cherie Pedersen from Milton. Cherie's one of these competitors. You'll see her around a lot of the shows in the South Island if you follow the circuit. You just watch her, she turns. Well done. That fleece was quite loose at the top, but she managed to throw it nicely. And we've got young Chelsea Mavis. Haven't seen her for a little while.
No, but, you know, once a wool handler, you're always there. And just the way she's working around that fleece tells you that nothing's lost. Lovely to see you back up here, Chelsea. And, of course, down the bottom stands here, we have Logan Kamura. He's been kind of the young gun that's been pushing through, I say, in this open grade for probably the last year and a bit. He's come in with a hiss and a roar, and he's lost none of that energy. He just hisses and roars all the way around his mahi, and he does it day in and day out in the shearing sheds as well. So great to have another top line heat in these open qualifying rounds.
Yes, we've had 11 heats, Mavis. That's 11 fours. We've had 44 open wool handlers this morning. Started at 7:47. It was supposed to be 7:45, but I think somebody slept in. It might have been Nuki. But here we go. This is the last heat. Then we're going to move on with the senior shearing. So you senior shearers, you guys make sure you're organised. Remember, no hand pieces to be put on the seats. Seats are for bums only. Sarah Higgins here on table number 1 rolls up the fleece. Nice tight compact roll. I think their judge should be struggling to find any faults with that roll up. But here we go with the wool handlers. They're all back to their shearers. We've got to thank the shearers. They've done a great job for us, guys. Thank you very much. Paddy Mason and his team. Sheree turns around, throws. Lovely throw from Sarah.
Blow for blow. Well, guys, down the wool pressing, it is clip by clip. They're clipping up the last side, and they're really blow for blow, as it would be called, Gerald. Look at them. Not too far away, are they? What's the time?
17 minutes 40 so far. They've been leaving out here. Everything being equal, that should be 2.5 minutes to go. Going on their time yesterday. And there it is, synchronised pressing. We're going to get these pins out. Duck shooting opening, as I say, in Southland. Boom, boom. It's 7 o'clock. We're going to light the momos up with the old shotguns. The pins are clear. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a ding-dong battle. It's about now. You should be getting in behind your favourite. They have to be tired and exhausted, but they've still got a bounce in their step. Christine pulls out her bail. Fiona pulls out her bail. Here we go. Who wants it the most? Christine says, I've done enough. So does Fiona. Ladies and gentlemen, wow. What a finish that was.
Fantastic finish. Well done, ladies at the back. Well done.
Well, there's not a lot in time, only about 4 seconds in time between the two of them, so that's not even a quarter of a point. And now we're going to go to the bail weights.
While we're waiting for those bail weights, things are certainly happening at a pace up the front as well. We've had beautiful throw after beautiful throw. It would be a pleasure to work in a shearing shed with these wool handlers. When you've got fleeces being presented at the table like this, makes life so much easier. And that's why these people are where they are. These are the mentors and the teachers in the shearing sheds of New Zealand.
Sarah Higgins just skirting away around the side. These wool handlers, ladies and gentlemen, they've got 9 baskets around the table, and in every one of those baskets should be a separate line of wool. So with some of these fleeces, you know, it's been a bit of a wet, warm summer. Like earlier in January, we had a lot of rain, so there's a lot of mud about. The sheep would have been going and sitting in the mud, and then you get the discoloured wool. So you got water stain, you got mud. You know, there's a lot of work that these wool handlers need to do.
Okay, Gerald.
But they're on their clean-up. Gerald, do you want to come in here?
Yeah, thanks, Tuma. Hey, we're going for a 150 kg bale. Christine Walland come in with 141. Okay, 141. That was a big effort. So what are we thinking, Koro? What are you thinking here?
They're after 150, aren't they?
We're after 150.
Well, I was way off the track the last time. You buried me on that one. I'm going for 144.
You're doing 144?
I'm going for 144.
I'm going to stay with you on this one. 143.
143.
There we go. There's a wager on it. Anyway, jokes aside, Fiona Healy's body, bail. Put her on. Fiona Healy's. Fiona Healy comes in with a 144.5, ladies and gentlemen. That's getting close. So Christine with a 141 and Fiona with a 144.5, was it?
So, ladies and gentlemen, give those wool pressers a good hand. Fiona and Christine, the World Farmlands Women's Pressing.
Can we also just say thank you to our resident shearers that have spent the whole morning up there shearing for the wool handlers. Thank you very much, guys. Much appreciated.
And a big thanks to you, Mavis and Tuma, for running us through the open wool handling heats. And, of course, Gerald Spain and Coral Mullins down there on the pressing. Well done, guys. Powerco Senior Shearing is the next event on the card. The heats for the senior, proudly sponsored by Powerco. Heat number 1, very shortly, will be Ruka Braddock, Steve Jane, Naki Maraki, Connor Puha, Sean Gauk, and Kieran Devane. That's heat number 1. You guys need to be sitting at the on the bleachers at the foot of the stairs waiting. We're just going to be a couple of minutes, folks. We're just going to test one or two of our electrical systems out before we get into the senior shearing. So a couple of minutes. And a big thanks to these guys in the black shirts on the stage now doing the wool tables. Thank you guys very much. They in and out with the wool all the time. They've been working away all morning and they do a great job here every year. So thanks, guys. Thanks to our resident shearers, and of course our resident wool handlers are getting themselves all set up down the front here for the next event, the senior shearing. So big thanks to our resident wool handlers. Just a note on our sponsors, Powerco, while we're waiting. They have spent, Powerco are our local electricity lines network company here in the Wairarapa. They've just spent $4.6 million in the last 12 months upgrading the network in the Wairarapa, so a huge investment by Powerco. And they plan to spend another $6.5 million in this year in the upgrades in the Wairarapa. So they're really getting amongst the Powerco, and it's great to have them, such a progressive company, on board with the Golden Shears. Once again, they were here last year, and a huge thanks to Powerco for their support of this, the senior shearing.
Hey, welcome back, viewers, to the 2019 Golden Shears. We're at the beautiful city or town of Masterton in Whakatioriore. That's its Māori name, Ki Wairarapa. So we're in here, and our special guest is at the moment the current Golden Shears champion, world champion. So we've got a very important and prestigious guest in our studio this morning. Tēnā koe, Joel. Kei te mihi atu ki a koe I tēnei wā. Ko koe te toa. You are the current champion, and there's lots to do this year. And of course, the goal is also the world shearing and wool handling and champs in Le Dorat and Vive le Francais. So, kia ora, welcome.
Kia ora koro.
Well, we've just seen the Shear Expertise sponsored open wool handling. They had to close the entries. Too many entries. Yeah, too many entries.
11 heats.
11. and I see you were in the first or the second heat, so you come up quite early. And look, how are you feeling at this time? You just had your heat, so was it a great event for you?
Yeah, I think I've done enough. There's 16 going through to the quarters, so yeah, it should be good enough. Yeah. Good enough.
And of course, they've had a change of sheep, and I just talked to you off air there a little while ago, and you said there was something like monstrous fleeces you had to handle?
Yeah, it's a different lineup of sheep for this year. I don't think they're coming from Cross Keys anymore, as they have as in the past, but we've got a new lineup of sheep, very challenging. There's a lot of colour in some of them, and you know, these wool handlers have got it. You know, it's challenging, we'll just put it like that.
Traditionally, we've used sheep from the coast, Cross Keys, and they've been a little longer in the fleece, but they've also broken apart. These ones look like they were very, very well grown and they went across the table, but Did they have any colour in them? Was there
Well,
colour?
there is a lot of colour coming out. The judges have asked and shown the girls and guys that only the heavy stuff to be removed, and I was fortunate enough. I don't think I had any.
Wow, you were lucky. And we sometimes wonder at this level, how come so many people have so much luck? Because you're one of those guys, aren't you? Or competitors.
I always say, yeah, it's a fluke or luck, but David Fagan reckons a true champion makes his own luck.
Those are wise words, wise words. Well, this is sheer. Look, it's been upgraded. It's gone to the next level. It's really elevated itself. The prize money has almost tripled thanks to the sponsorship of Shear Expertise. That's Paddy Mason and Masterton here. So isn't that great?
That is great. And, I've done a lot of work for Paddy over the years, and back when he was just still managing for Collins. So it's great to see Paddy has taken the run over, and he's doing well. And getting in behind the wool handling here, it goes back a long time to his grandmother, Henare Mason.
Yes.
The Open Wool Handling Trophy is that for her, the Henare Mason Memorial Trophy. And she was the first to organise the wool handlers here in 1961.
I know that, and we had a young Gordon come up who's Uri, who's a family member and is really built around that kuia, that hinero, that nanny, and she was always on the #1 stand, I understand. I don't remember her, but I'm probably a lot younger than that. But Joel, looking ahead, we've got the challenge of the south and the north, and we'll find out who the two wool handlers are going to be chosen here that are going to France. And you're sitting up there in that level?
Yeah, I made the top 4 from the South Island, so it's myself, Hagan Karodia, Cherie Peterson and Chelsea Collier.
Do you know who the North Islanders
are?
The
North is Cherie Alabaster, Kieran Herbert, Edamiha Neho and Nio Hansen.
Nio,
yeah.
Nio, because Trish Ludlow was sitting there, wasn't she?
She was there, and so was Monica Portai, but she managed to tip them at the last competition.
She got them?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's great, because I do know that's going to be quite a good competition. Yeah. And you're looking at it, you've got a wonderful, and I've been hearing, Joel's retiring, and this is entirely my view, I'm not looking forward to you being into retirement phase. We actually still need you out on those competitions because you just lift everybody else. So have a think about that. That's always something you can just come and go as you choose.
Yeah, I think
you've got nothing to.
Yeah, I think that right now for me and where I am, and priorities call in other areas. So whānau wise, and we Māoris and we always put whānau first. And we look at the other top athletes that stuck around a while, but I think they sacrificed a lot, but it paid off for them. But I just think that there's another avenue for me. But yeah, I think I'll still be around, just not as much. Yeah. Not
as much. Well, that's all right. You'll just pick and choose where you go. So just looking at the heats we've just finished and the Shear Expertise Open Wool Handling, any surprises that we haven't found out who is the qualifiers into the semi-finals? Is there any surprises in there? Somebody that you don't know that might have come into the semi-final?
Edamiha.
He might not make it?
Oh, no. I think that he was the surprise.
Oh, surprise. Oh, how well he's done. Yeah. Well, Edamiha has really gone out. He's travelled. He's upskilled himself. And I suppose it starts to pay out because you've got to do the miles, don't you?
Well, that's right, yeah. And I go back to listening to David and them talk that it takes 10 years for a shearer to, start making finals or do 10,000 miles or something like that to become an accomplished open shearer. So I think similar in wool handling, or you've got to be something pretty special to just get up there and start winning, yeah.
Yeah, you can't just rock up and think you're going to do well. You've actually got to do the mahi.
Yeah.
And that's it is. So Joel, it's been good having you. We'd like you to come back into the studio again at some stage and lend us a good hand. Is there anybody you'd like to talk to out there?
I'd just like to say to all the family and friends that are watching, of all the competitors and myself, you know, for the support, because it's all about support here, and that's what you need. And we've got the Trans-Tasman test tonight, and we'll need a hell of a lot of support for that. I mean, Cherie versus the Aussies.
We've always won here, though, haven't we?
Oh, we have.
They can't cut it
Except
in
for
here.
that, yeah, Kieran and Ronnie.
Oh, all right. How about when we go to Australia? How did you guys get on over there?
Yeah. Yeah, we went to Perth and it wasn't, we didn't get the result we were after. I've been in the team 10.
Same team, same Aussie team?
Yes, actually. Yeah.
They beat you?
They did.
All
they
right.
did. And, you know, I'd been in the team 10 years and it's the first time that they'd done it, so it took them a while to do it.
I believe the Australians have lifted their game. They really, really are firing. There is a... Shannon Warners didn't make the team for the first time in umpteen years, so I sort of said to somebody yesterday, I said, well, that's not a bad thing, because he's pretty good. Yeah. But if he's watching, he will watch in, and we bless him and thank him for coming again, and hopefully he's lining up to be here again. So Joel, kei te mihi atu ki a koe I tēnei wā. Ka mau te wehi as far as your wool handling goes. Oh, kia ora.
Kia ora koro.
Kia ora. Well, we're going to go back to the stadium. We're getting underway with the Powerco Senior Shearing. Back to you, Toby.
Looking for that top 18 to go through to the semi-final. The question is, who is it going to be? And all of these competitors in the senior say, I want to make that final. I want to take home that ribbon. I want the prize money. And most of all, I want to be Golden Senior Shears champion.
That's dead right, Kerry. So just interrupt there. So we'll have Ramon Smith, Laura Bradley, Leroy Pitt, Ross Thompson, Gethin Lewis and Thomas Lema to the foot of the stage, please. That will be heat number 2. You guys come up and assemble at the foot of the stage immediately, please. Heat 3 will be Barney Cummings, Brandon Maguire-Ratama, Lowell Taumata, Jade Maguire-Ratama, Mark Taylor and Geordie Grant. So that'll be heat 3, but heat 2, please, to the foot of the stage, the foot of the stairs, and you'll be ready to go on immediately. 5 sheep up here. Gerald, what's happening down there with the pressing, old mate?
Yeah, thanks, Norm. We're ready to go. Semi-final of the Piers pressing. Let's let them rip. You know who they are. We've got Tristan Mackay, Jackie Parker over on press 2. We've got Vinny and Jeremy Goodger here. The officials are ready. Pressers, on your marks, get set, go. Right, we're going to put them to a good test too, Norm. We're going to step it up to 170 kgs in weight. Now, we know Ricky Stevens piled a heap of wool in it earlier on and did a 160, and it was starting to rip the fad. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how they can get this wool down. It's become very full of air and sort of loose, and it's taking a whole lot to get a good heavy bale. So, yeah, don't be frightened to spin around and watch this, because it's teamwork, it's quick, it's high-fired, high-paced sort of stuff. Okay, back to the shearing. You're still good. Norm, you're good. They haven't we catch up, so we'll stay here. So, right, here we go. Jeremy's in. Feel free, Norm, just interrupt when you're ready to go, or Kerry. And Jeremy's into the press. Vinny's the one with the big arm span. He is piling the wool in there and says, come on, bro, get that wool down. I've lost a shoe in there. There's been many a things found in a bale wool. This stage, we don't want one of Jerry's 10 size gym shoes. Now, here we go down in the press too. Jackie decides, well, I'll get the fadge in there. Hubby, you get in the top box and get that squash down. You do all the hard yards. I'll do the housekeeping on this side. So she locks it up and has a smile at the same time and says, what is all that stuff you're talking about? Get out of my way and let me get on with it. Here we go. Tristan says, come on, darling. You've swept under the carpet enough. Put the lucks away. We've got some hard yards to do. He's stuffing it down with his big arms. Here, talking about big arms, Vinny lets loose. He locks this one up in one half step, and he's in the bin. He's going to squash all the corners. We're not far away from a wind-up. Norm, we'll go back to you for a second.
Thanks, Gerald. So once again, please, Ramon Smith, Laura Bradley, Leroy Pitt, Ross Thompson, Gethin Lewis, Thomas Lemmy, you guys need to be at the foot of the stairs, please. We don't want to be waiting for people to come out of the crowd. Once your heat has been called, you need to be up here waiting and so we can hop you straight up onto the board and keep going. We're already about a quarter of an hour or so behind schedule, so we want to make that back up. And the senior shearing heats is one event that we can make up a wee bit of time. So we do thank you for your cooperation. Been really good so far, all our shearers and wool handlers, as far as getting up there goes. So we'll just keep that rolling. So sheep number, the screens have gone off. I think it's sheep number 4 on the board anyway. And young Connor Puha has got another one on the board down there on stand number 4. This young fellow won the senior grade speech here last night. And he's out on the board with his 3rd sheep. In goes Sean Gauk. So I wouldn't panic about the screens. They'll have it sorted upstairs anyway. Rooker Braddock on stand number 1, finishing touches, another couple of shots, and he'll be looking for another sheep. Steve Jane from Wairarapa on stand number 2. Working down the field, Naki Maraki bellies out and he turns into the first hind leg. Connor Puha, like I said, he won the senior speech here last night, looking for a spot in the semi-final of the Powerco Senior today, and he's around onto the last front shoulder, shearing nicely, Kerry, down there on stand 4.
Yeah, all these young shearers are looking good. There's nothing really separating the field at the moment. There's sort of much of a muchness with each other, but just a few niggles here and a few kicks and a bit of a squirm and a bit of a wriggle. It's hard for these shearers to keep their sheep under control.
We're just about ready to go into the crankdown over here at the semi-final in the pairs event. Gerald and these guys here, they did a bail in about 5 minutes, and how's the time looking at the moment? They're getting ready for the crankdown.
Crankdown time, yeah, just to get to quantify that for you, of course, 5 minutes 38 in the heats, and we're running at 4 minutes 10 now. Now, Vinny's going to take charge at the moment and do the easy yards. And here comes the cavalry. Jeremy Goodger arrives, says, "Radio, bro, family works together, they stay together." Now he's on the journey home. He has a wee glance to say how much longer to go. Stay with it, Vinny, we'll swap ya. Share the load, bro, share the load. Look at them go, folks. Where are they from? Is it Masterton, Coro, do you think?
Dannyburg, they're Dannyburg guys now. I'm taking them back to Dannyburg.
Have you? Jolly. I've got them. Well, they're staying with Masterton. The last and finishing touches there.
So what's the bail weight?
Bail weight's 170 kg.
Well, there's 170 in that bail, I guarantee, because they had to change crankers. Down they come, and these guys over here from Wairarapa, the mighty Wairarapa River. These sheep flows, and here he is, Tristan, and they really are struggling to get that 170, but these boys are getting ready to tag up the pins.
Oh, yeah, they're banging those pins in. Here goes Tristan and Jackie. If this is going to be teamwork, husband and wife, I'm sure they're going to have it right. Jackie's getting the lid down, says we'll get that as far as down as we can. 2 very good shearers have a shearing contract business as well. So they know all about the hard yards, organising sheds and food and shearers and shearing themselves as well, so they don't shy off from a challenge, ladies and gentlemen. Can tell you that. But the challenge has been drawn. Here we go. Is the bail going to hold the 170? Oh, it's creaking and groaning. That's going to be hard to lock up now. Oh, here we go.
There's only 170, and look what it's done to the wool pack, Gerald.
Yeah, that's going to be hard.
It's still going.
It's still going. The boys are going to do it quick. This is going to be actually quite a good experiment of who can really, work out how we're going to do this now. They know to go quickly to get in before any more gives.
They've got to hurry up now because the wool pack is starting. We've never seen this, ladies and gentlemen. Come and have a look at this. The wool pack is starting to pack up under pressure because they've got 170 kilos and they've really powered the box up, and I reckon it's dead on 170, Gerald. It'll have to be.
Yeah, well, I had a strong feeling something similar was going to happen because we saw it with Ricky's bail at 160. Well, 159, 1K less. Means a lot in the pressing game. It's starting to settle now. So it's a good sign that it's at least 160 if it's starting to rip the pack.
I'll just interrupt you there, Gerald, if that's okay. I know that's the final down there, but we'll just get the next heat on the board, please. Well done, guys. Heat number 1, that was. So Thomas Lemmer down there on stand number 6, please. Githan Lewis on stand 5. Ross Thompson on 4. Leroy Pitt on 3. Laura Bradley 2. Ramon Smith, stand 1. You can take your stands now. And the next heat, heat number 3, they need to go and assemble at the foot of the stairs, please. There will be Barney Cummings, Brandon Maguire-Ratama, Lionel Tomata, Jade Maguire-Ratama, Mark Taylor, Geordie Grant. So you 6 shearers, please need to go and assemble at the foot of the stairs to the left of the stage. This heat's on the board, and we'll set them off as soon as we get the green light. Heat number 2, this is, of the Powerco Senior.
All right, back to the wool pressing, and we're witnessing something, ladies and gentlemen, that this wool press is buckling under the pressure. The bale is starting to creak away, and that's giving Jackie and Kristen a time to come back at them. They're coming back at them quite quickly, Gerald. These boys, the Goodyear boys, are in trouble. They're in a lot of trouble over here. They're really having to lift their game because this bale weight, it's going to have to see. Well, let's see what the judges say anyway. They're gone for 170.
8 minutes 34. The bale's been ripped. One of our major sponsors. You want to major sponsors there. We've still got the red light. Let's stay with this. We'll stick with these boys being from Masterton, of course. There we go. Presentation's done. The bale is tight. The extra few Ks and all. There we go. Give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Time is going to tell. Wow, that's a serious